Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's the Michael Myers back again with a brand new live stream, man. First of all, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to all of you guys. I actually was gonna go live yesterday. Uh, I did get a little busy, so decided to save it for today, man. Super Jace Bros, what's up? You guys know what's up, man. We're gonna be talking about the new short film that we've been anticipating for the past few weeks, man. Of course, part of our new Jason Universe uh, timeline or whatever. So yeah, man. I mean, as you guys know, as we all been knowing, Sweet Revenge is a short little film. Uh, you know, based on this new Jason Universe. Uh, for me, I honestly thought it was gonna be more of like a commercial piece. It kind of is. I mean, not really though. I mean, once you watch it, you kind of get the whole commercial aspect out of the way. Of course, angry. What's it called? Angry. Uh, art card. I'm probably saying it wrong, but of course, man. They definitely been very involved when it comes to this new Jason Universe, man. If you ask me, it's like a good promotion, a good marketing thing. Of course, you had the beers all through this little short film or whatever. But yeah, man. I mean, first of all, it's exciting because this is our first. Like I said, a lot of us, most of us, were right there tuned in, looking forward to this because it's our first time we get anything Friday the 13th related or Jason to be exact after 16 years. Of course, since 2009, the remake. Uh, of course, man, Jason, Friday the 13th is always going to be a fan favorite. And especially when you take a long time, a long gap before, our last thing we got, which was 16 years. You're obviously gonna have the fans ready. The fans are locked and loaded when it comes to this. And it's a little 13-minute short film. If you guys have not seen it, go check it out, man. I believe it's gonna. I thought it was gonna premiere on the, Angry Art Card or whatever YouTube channel, but it's actually on the Jason Universe YouTube channel. So go check it out if you haven't, man. But you guys probably saw it by now. I mean, my first thoughts, man, my reaction. Definitely let me know before anything. Let me know what you guys think about this little vignette or short film. You know, I wouldn't say I was expecting more. Um, I really like. I wouldn't say I was expecting more out of this because you guys got to remember it's a short film. This is just the beginning, so I wasn't expecting a whole lot. And like I said, I know we had like a little teaser trailer beforehand, and it's like overall my reaction. Like I said, I tuned in yesterday 5 p.m. I was ready, and I was really like I said, looking forward to this. Overall, dude, it is it's a decent piece of marketing. Like I said, nothing great. I know a lot of people are already kind of disliking it. People are crapping on it, and honestly, that I think that's the majority of the reviews. People are not digging it. Me personally, of course, man, I also do have issues with this, with the whole Jason Universe thing. Of course, the main thing was the mask, right? And now in this short film, we have our first look at the mask in action. Beforehand, we had little glimpses, the concept art. We had some people already were able to get their hands on the actual mask, in person. They were giving them out at San Diego Comic Con or whatever. But now we get to see the new mask in the flesh, in action. And like I said before, once we get this new piece, once we got this new short film, our perception of the new mask might have changed. But honestly, when it comes to the mask, man, I still feel the same, man. I just think it looks like crap. A lot of shots of Jason in this regarding the mask. It just looks a little too. It just looks goofy. It really does look goofy. It looks silly, man. And we're gonna get into it. Like I said, overall, my reaction, I was really thrilled to see something. Obviously, I do have my issues with it. Um, Tosin Stardom, look out for the boogeyman. Jeremy Killcout. But yeah, man, like I said, overall, dude, it was a cool piece to look forward to. But I do have my ups and downs with it. Overall, I'm gonna give it a. As far as rating, I'm gonna give it a probably a 6 out of 10, dude. A 6 out of 10. Like I said, we were all tuned in. I was tuned in, so I was really looking forward to this stuff. Um, and like I said, man, this is just a first taste, a first look at our new Jason universe, at our new Jason world that we're gonna be, that we're gonna have from now on. And I know, like I even mentioned this before too. I really didn't understand the whole, short film thing. A lot of people feel they should have just gave us, instead of the short film, they should have gave us, a movie directly. They should have gave us the TV series, which is obviously in production right now. Uh, from that aspect, yes, I do get it. I think the whole short film thing, the whole short film idea was kind of strange. But like I said, I do understand from the point of view that they're trying to, they're not trying to give us everything at once. They want to give us, little by little. So it's a little 13-minute short film. I did write some of the things, my ups and downs with it. I'm gonna start off with the stuff that I actually did like. First of all, and this is something I kind of did like based on the little trailer we got. It's something that caught my attention right away, man. Is the whole Crystal Lake scenario. Now, I've seen some people say it's our ordinary Crystal Lake setting. The teenagers and visiting the camp. Obviously, dude. Obviously, that's what it's gonna be. I mean, if they were to try something different, some people would complain that it's not the ordinary Friday the 13th routine. You know what I mean? Uh, uh, so I did like that, dude. I actually did like that because, and that's including, the cinematography as well. You could tell, it's not like and you guys, if you guys go look back in my at my reaction of the trailer for this little short film, I mentioned it right away, man. The cinematography, the production, and everything, the budget. It looks like you know, kind of like a TV movie, kind of like a TV series, and yeah. So it does have that feeling. Obviously, man. This is a short film that we're not gonna get, a big major production yet. Uh, and what's it called? So as far as that, I really did like that. I like the whole Crystal Lake scenario. It has that, kind of old school vibe, the '80s vibe. You got some of the characters in here. They're wearing like the old school Nike Cortezes, which was really popular, in the '80s. The whole Crystal Lake scenario, the group of friends doing their thing. It has all that. Like I said, traditional Friday the 13th. So I did like that. Like I said, cinematography which was okay. Nothing major as far as like budget. It has that TV vibe to it, and like I said, that was the obvious because like I said, it's just a short film, and you guys got to remember this might actually be part of the same world as the Crystal Lake series. Uh, so I mean that's something pretty cool, I guess. The characters. Now the characters I didn't really care for. The new chick, our new final girl, she was pretty cool. You know, she really is. She really is obviously like the center of attention when it comes to this new group of kids, right? Uh, she did cool. The acting was a bit off. I will say that, but you guys got to remember, man. It's a little short film, whatever commercial. So they're not gonna go all out. They pretty much. This is just kind of like an experiment kind of thing. I guess they were trying to experiment. Obviously, when it comes to the Crystal Lake show, they're still working on that. We still got like a whole year for that. So, like I said, as far as a marketing strategy, promotion, uh, it's pretty cool. Like I said, I think for them to market this whole new Jason Universe thing, part of like the whole beard thing, angry art card, uh, it was pretty clever. Uh, so the characters were whatever, but I do like the main chick. I think she she carried on this little 13-minute short film or whatever. So she was cool. Now the next thing, the kills. We did get a few kills, like two, or like a good 2, 3. Um, there's a nice handful of gore there for sure. Uh, and the first kill, obviously, when Jason enters the premise, and he has that whole fish thing from outside or whatever. It was a cool. It was cool. Like it was a nice, solid first look at what's to come. You know what I mean? And then of course after that he like throws a piece from that fish thing and throws it at one of the guys and falls instantly. I wouldn't say, like I said, dude, I can't really tell you this whole new Jason because it's just a 13-minute thing. I can't tell you if this Jason is gonna be more vicious than the one we had previously, but based on the kills we got, they were cool. Like they were, they did his job, for sure. You could say the suspense was there. I think Jason handled, his new victims pretty good, pretty good. But those are the main things that stood out to me for sure. Oh, and I forgot one more, which is honestly, uh, 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 could be my favorite thing. My favorite thing from the whole short film, the score, the soundtrack itself, really good, man. We're still not sure who's really behind it, but it really does remind me, at least, of the old school, Matt Freeney soundtrack, our main sound when it comes to Friday. Of course, with a modern twist to it. So that was my favorite thing out of this whole short film. The score, the soundtrack, it just has that, classic Friday sound, and I really did enjoy it. That was the main thing that stuck out to me. The score itself, I think it carried on. If they didn't have this score, it wouldn't have been as we wouldn't have been right into it, because obviously the score plays when when they find Jason, right? They start dealing with Jason, and what's it called? And so the soundtrack is what did it for me. The score, like I said, man, it has that classic Friday the 13th sound to it, but of course with a more little twists and turns here and there. You could say a more modern twist. JC Horror Channel. Yeah, man. I mean, I guess they're working on the show and a new movie at the same time. Like I said, part of this whole new Jason universe. I really couldn't tell you if this new movie they're working on will be kind of based on this Sweet Revenge. But honestly, I think it might be. I think our new movie that we're gonna get, and I think even the show, dude. I think this is the kind of vibe they're gonna go with. And like I said, this feels more of like a TV thing. If they were to remain like this tone, this vibe to the Crystal Lake series, I really wouldn't mind. Like I really hope they keep this this vibe to it, because like I said, it has that nice TV vibe to it. Like I said in the first beginning of the short film is when they're barely getting into the camp, right? And like I said, man, it just has it really reminds me of of the 80s. It reminds me, of course, in a modern lens, but it definitely reminds me of our traditional old school Friday films. Like I said, the characters didn't really care for their whatevers. The new chick was all right, and of course, to a lot of people, the main standout as far as the characters is the guy from the beginning, the older guy who's already there. Once the kids are there, he kind of gives them that look like, do you know what you're getting into? He knows the whole history. He knows what's about to crack down, right? And So a lot of people really dig that character, and I'm pretty, like I said, I think there's more to it. Whatever this is gonna be, Sweet Revenge, I think we're eventually gonna see these characters back. In my instant feeling, either the show or the movie. Uh, who knows, dude? This might be an episode of the Crystal Lake show, and they just trimmed it into a 13-minute version. Who knows? But like I said, I really hope they do keep this vibe, this tone for the Crystal Lake series, dude. Because like I said, I know it's just a 13-minute little short film, but when it comes to the show, dude, I really don't want to see nothing silly. I don't want to see nothing, you know, cringy, nothing like no woke stuff, none of that crap, man. Like we seen with a lot of similar horror shows we've gotten lately. Just the tone of this, dude. Like I said, I really hope they stick onto this like serious tone of like I said, either the movie or the show, because I liked it. I like the whole the whole Friday, the whole Friday the 13th vibe. So I thought the creative kills were one of the main standouts. Super, yeah, dude. I'm telling you, the kills were pretty solid. I mean, they're in there. They're right in the realm of a Jason type kill, a Jason style of a kill, right? And like I said, I know we didn't see much as far as the kills. We saw a nice handful of gore. And yeah, I do get it when it comes to Friday. There should be a nice handful of gore. But I just hope they don't, I hope they keep that under control. I hope they don't just, fill up depend on gore and all that. I hope it's more, grounded, a little bit more story driven. Like I said, man, we obviously didn't get none of that in this little 13-minute short, but it's still nice to see what they got in store for us. Mutant Theater, what's up, man? All the elements. Yeah, for sure, Mutant Theater. That was my favorite thing from this short. The soundtrack, dude. They killed it. They think, like I said, it gave me those Matt Freeney vibes. That like you said, the first four Friday the 13th kind of soundtrack. And like I said, dude, if it wasn't for the score, man, the soundtrack, I don't think. I think people would hate it even more. Like I said, from what I've seen, people are disappointed, man. But you guys got to remember, it's only a little. It's our first look, dude. 13-minute short. They still got more in store for us. But yeah, I do agree on the score for sure. That was my main takeaway from this whole thing. Pornstar JR, what's up, man? Yeah, it's only a little 13-minute short, man. Commercial, whatever. Like I said, once you get into it, you kind of forget the whole commercial thing. But it's. I would like I wasn't expecting more. It pretty much was what I was expecting it to be. Oh yeah, for sure, Pornstar. Yeah, I hope, like I said, man, I hope they do a nice job with it, man. Like I said, I like the serious tone it has. I don't want it to, go on from here, either it's the show or the movie. I just hope they keep it nice and grounded, like this little 13-minute short film. Because, it really, like I said, it obviously feels like a modern, like a modern piece of, horror, for sure. But like I said, you could definitely tell they try to keep it as classic. And when I say keep it classic, keep it, the old Friday the 13th, route. I mean, as far as, just the whole clothing of it, the clothes they're wearing and stuff like that, the whole Crystal Lake scenario. So it has that for sure. But yeah, I really wouldn't want it to spin off into nothing, nothing, fill this up with a lot of the, modern shit they do now. So Twisted Emo, what's up, man? What's up? So yeah, man, I mean, those were the main things that stood out to me. Now we're gonna get into some of the negatives, and the first one, well, I kind of already touched on the first one, the acting. Yeah, like I said, we're barely getting introduced to some of these characters, man. Like I said, I really wouldn't expect much because it's just a little short film. So obviously, the acting was off for sure. You know, the character, like I said, the characters didn't really care for. But this new final chick, I really hope we see more of her, man. All right, and talking about speaking about the new chick or whatever. And I did when I first saw it yesterday. It didn't occur in my mind, you know. But I guess she turns into this zombie after she's attacked. She gets taken down to the lake when she's riding the boat. Obviously, an homage to the original. I wasn't a fan of that, to be honest, because like I understand they're trying to pay tribute. But I don't know. I just think it just looked a bit silly, man. But it's a nice homage or whatever. But yeah, I guess after she was, taken down into the lake, she comes out. She's like this kind of zombie or whatever. Like I said, that didn't really occur in my mind uh, 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 when I first saw it. But obviously something was up because she made it out alive. Uh, but like I said, even after she came back out, it never occurred to me that she's like this zombie or whatever. You know, uh, but uh, but yeah, of course, she manages to get out and she goes to back to her place, and that's when shit starts to crack down, and we see our new Jason for the first time. And this is the main issue. Obviously, this is our main issue. All of us, from what I've seen, is Jason himself. And yeah, honestly, that is the main issue here. Jason himself. Uh, I don't know, dude. And I'm not just talking about the mask. We've talked about the mask several times. Like I said, our first time seeing the new mask in action. And yeah, dude, the mask looks quite goofy. It looks quite, it looks really off for sure. But other than the mask, dude, I think the new Jason, the way he moves, like I said, some of the kills were cool. The main two kills were cool, but I just feel he's not as as what we expect. He really does look like someone in a regular Jason costume, dude. Like it really didn't. He's not that terrifying Jason we all know, right? He's a little bit smaller as far as like his physical shape, more smaller, more quite of a skinnier Jason. Uh, so yeah, dude, that was my main gripe is the Jason. I know they did cast a younger dude for Jason. I believe he is our new. He's our first our youngest Jason we've ever gotten. As far as adult Jason, this Jason is the youngest guy to play him from the whole franchise. Uh, and yeah, dude, like I said, it was cool. Jason do his thing, kill like two guys or three, whatever, how many they were. Uh, but yeah, dude, something was off. Something was off, and like I said, we already kind of saw that when it comes to the concept art. Yeah, it was like the outfit, the new design wasn't really something I was really paying attention to. It's our ordinary Jason design, right? But what really, caught me off guard, man, what really was distracting me with this new Jason is just how, small he is, dude. I mean, I don't expect Jason to be this big ass, monster neither. But yeah, dude, it just really felt like a regular guy in a Jason costume, to keep it real. And like I said, man, the mask itself, the mask looks huge too. The mask looks like it just looks huge, man. It really looks strange. It looks strange on screen. Like I said, we were kind of hoping for it to look a little bit more better. Once we see the mask in action. But yeah, dude, there was something really off though. There was something really off with the new Jason, and that was my main gripe from it. So my main issue with this is our new Jason. Just not a fan of it, dude. And my favorite thing from this is the soundtrack, the score. Like I said, man, I really hope this score, this vibe, of this little short film, uh, 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 carries on to the show, because like I said, it really feels like a TV kind of movie. I know some people were, I feel like many people are disappointed because they were expecting it to be movie quality, movie budget, movie production, but obviously it's not, dude. And I really wasn't expecting that neither, because it's a short film, it's a commercial, whatever they were gonna do. I really wasn't expecting this major, movie production. Uh, uh, but yeah, overall, dude, this new Crystal Lake show or whatever. Uh, I mean, it kind of, there's some hope there for me. There's some hope because, and I know they've also released some behind the scene photos of them in production. They're literally filming right now, and just the whole style of the cop cars, of the cop uniform, everything we've seen so far on the set. It looks 80s style, dude. And you guys gotta remember, dude, this is a prequel. We're gonna be dating before the 80s, because we're gonna deal with Pamela. So yeah, dude, that's what really is the main stands out to me, man. Is that I hope they do a nice job capturing, the old style. This is obviously gonna take place back in the 60s or whenever the Pamela story takes place. And like I said, man, based on the BTS photos, they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job capturing that. Like I said, based on this 13 little minute short film, it had that 80s kind of feel to it. And yeah, so I really hope they carry on this kind of style. And I hope they just don't fill us up with a lot of the stuff we've seen before. Uh, but overall, dude, it was okay. It was, like I said, our first look at Jason. Jason is our most disappointing thing about this. Uh, and like we mentioned before, man. When we talk about this, they're obviously gonna evolve Jason, dude. They're not. I doubt it. They're gonna stick to this Jason for the whole thing. I doubt it, dude. Hopefully this is you know our new Jason just for this commercial, this short film. Eventually, when we get the movie or the show, when adult Jason shows up in the show, he is definitely a little bit more touched on. I'm pretty sure, guys. Like I said, I doubt they're gonna keep this look for whatever we get next. Uh, RBH, what's up, man? What's up? I wonder. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. Super Jace Bros. Uh, yeah. So that's one thing too. Like I said, the whole the new chick, our new final girl. I guess she turns into the zombie or whatever. She comes out, and I kind of do get it now because obviously when Jason stabbed her with the machete and then she takes it out like nothing and she survives that, obviously something is up with her. So now it does click together a little bit more. I guess she's like the zombie or whatever. And of course, at the end, dude, we're left with our new final girl and Jason coming face to face. Obviously, I feel like we're gonna eventually see that. We're eventually gonna see what's gonna happen. Like I said, I feel they're not done with these characters. Either the show or the movie, they're gonna fill. I think they're gonna fill us in a little bit more. When it comes to these characters. Uh, but but yeah, but the whole face off, it kind of seemed, it kind of caught me off guard as well. It seemed kind of strange, dude. Like, for this zombie chick to go against Jason. I don't know. It was kind of weird. The end credits too. I like the whole, kind of, old film kind of style it has. The music. So it has that, dude, and that's what really stuck out to me the most. The vintage vibe it has, dude. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of the whole cliffhanger thing or whatever they plan on doing. Like I said, we might see it down the line, their face off or whatever. But it just seemed kind of weird. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see what happens next. You know, let's hope the. You know what, RBH? I hope not, but that seems to be the case with a lot of these new movies, man. As far as you know, a lot of new movies that I've seen, like modern movies. Sorry, guys, I'm sweating. Some soundtracks are better than the actual movie itself, dude. So I really wouldn't be surprised if you know the score, the soundtrack outshines the movie or whatever. Because a lot of movies are like that. But like I said, man, there's still hope. I hope you know they guided the movie into a nice direction. You know, you're very true. You're very right. That's very Mutant Theater. I was gonna mention that too, man. You know, kind of compare it with the previous, you know, the remake soundtrack. The soundtrack for the remake felt, you know, like our ordinary, you know, horror movie soundtrack from that time. But like I said, the score really carried it on well. And yeah, that was my favorite thing. You know, that was my favorite thing. Like you said, Mutant Theater, it could have been a lot worse. It definitely could have been a lot worse. Like I said, dude, I feel like the main issue with people criticizing and disliking this, like I said, is based on our new Jason. And you know that's what everyone's looking at. That's what we're all, you know, kind of looking forward to, right? We couldn't wait till Jason to pop up, right? But besides that, dude, like I said, the cinematography, just the whole tone of it, I digged it. I definitely digged it. But yeah, our new Jason does need it needs some work, dude. It needs some work because I don't know, dude. Like I said, the kills were solid, but just his whole, you know, the mask, the you know, I feel Jason's a little too, you know, he's a little too skinny. We haven't seen like of course in part 3, part 4, you know, part 2 even. He's a regular sized dude, but he's not. He it doesn't look like. They don't look like cheap Halloween costumes like this does. You know what I mean? Uh, but yeah, but like I said, man, I was expecting. It kind of was what I was expecting. Like I was honestly expecting it to be worse. Uh, 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 I wasn't, you know, it didn't beat my expectations, but it was solid enough, dude. And you guys gotta remember, man, after 16 years, dude, we got something finally, you know. And like I said, people might not look at it that way, you know. Some people just, you know, want, like I said, the whole short film idea is kind of strange, you know, kind of out of the ordinary. Some people kind of, at least, I guess, expected a film, like an actual movie, right? Uh, 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 so I get it, dude. I mean, yeah, like I said, I get it. It's been 16 years, and for them to come out with this crap, it's disappointing, dude. Like I said, especially for the real fans, the true, you know, fans and stuff like that. But I don't think it's as terrible, dude, as people are making it out to be. Uh, like I said, dude, I've seen more negative than positive, you know. But me, dude, I'm kind of in the middle. Like I said, I kind of gave it like a 6 out of 10. My main issue, man, is Jason himself. Jason himself. I hope they work on Jason, dude. They hire a new guy or something. Uh, but like I said, man, it was cool to see Jason, you know, do his thing. You know what's funny too? When he knocked the door down and you know it goes on top of the guy. I was kind of expecting for the guy to like die in an instant, but obviously, man, the guy's just laying there. He kills him with the thing. It's kind of, you know, kind of strange, man. But like I said, they definitely got to work on the new Jason for sure. Uh, yeah, for sure. Mutant Theater. Yeah, yeah. I think he does need some work. And like I said, man, I don't think we're gonna be stuck with this Jason. They might keep the same guy, but they definitely gotta work at least on the mask, dude. Because yeah, like the mask really takes it off. Whenever you see Jason on screen, the mask really, it kind of throws you off a little bit. Like I said, it could be the mask too. It could be just that weird looking mask, man, that just takes away from the whole thing. Uh, Thank you, Mutant Theater. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys tuning in, man. Definitely hope you guys had a good one. I mean, let me know if you guys liked it or not. I mean, if you guys are disappointed, I get it, dude. I totally get it, dude. But like I said yesterday, cause I seen it like a nice 3 times already, But my main reaction, dude, it wasn't like I wasn't bummed out, I wasn't, fully disappointed. Uh, RBH, yeah, the short film, it's out now. It's on the Jason Universe YouTube channel. Definitely check it out, dude. Definitely recommend it. Like I said, dude, nothing major. Definitely you know, don't expect a lot, dude. Like I said, this is just our first look, and it was it worth the wait? Like I said, I guess because, like I said, man, it's not like we were expecting, or at least I wasn't expecting this major, showdown or this major, you know, uh, 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 like it was nice and simple. It was nice and simple. A few kills. We got our character introduced to our new characters. It did its. I did its job, I guess. Hold on. Yeah. So it's Sweet Jason Universe, Sweet Revenge, short film, under the Jason Universe channel, man. Uh, you can only find the trailer and reaction. Just go to the channel, Jason Universe, the channel. It might be under their live thing because they did do a live premiere. Uh, as long as it's not Corey under there, you're very right, man. You're very right. Hey, man, that would have been. This guy could probably pass better than Corey as Michael Myers in Halloween Ends. Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. I think there's not really a comparison there. Uh, but yeah, you're right. The Corey and Laurie story. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's true too, porn star. Yeah, at least we don't like. Honestly, dude, I thought this like when we first got the news like weeks ago. Uh, uh, uh I thought it was actually gonna be like a theater release, but you're right. At least we didn't really, uh, 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 waste our money. Like I said, and this is just our first look, so it's not like we're trying to they're trying to how do you say it? Like they're not giving it all of it to us at once. They're definitely taking their time. I mean, you never know. Maybe they might see the reception of this, how people are reacting to it or whatever, and based on the reception of this, they might go back, tweak a few little things. Because like I said, dude, the Crystal Lake show is based on Pamela. We might see adult Jason in the Crystal Lake show, maybe down the line, but whenever we get the movie, our new movie that they're working on, I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep a lot of these things in mind. Like I'm pretty sure, dude, they're gonna tweak the mask a little bit, tweak the Jason look, because that was our main, that was the main gripe with this. And like I said, man, I hope the creators take notes and actually pay, they keep that in mind, because imagine a full movie with this Jason. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe a full length movie could have, you know, if this was a full length movie, this, you know, it could have, you know, the new Jason probably could have looked different. Like I said, it also depends on lighting and angles or whatever you want to call it. Uh, but yeah, dude, like I said, I really hope they take a lot of this stuff into consideration, man, because we definitely don't want to, like I said, man, a whole movie based on this, at least the Jason, yeah, it seems quite off. You know, I don't think you know, it'll be carried on as well. You know, but yeah, I don't know, dude. It's just the new Jason. It's just like a watered down version of, you know, our Jason. We've had plenty of designs of Jasons, Monster Jason, Deadeye Jason. We got our classic Part 3, Part 4 look. So, you know, I don't know. It's just really strange, dude. But yeah, to me, it just looks like a guy in a Jason, a cheap Halloween costume, you know. Uh, but that's just me. Johnny Melakali, what's up, man? What's up? Just here, man. Giving you guys my quick thoughts on the new Sweet Revenge short film. Definitely let me know what you think, Johnny. If you saw it, uh, are you digging our new Jason? Uh, like I said, dude, my main gripe was our new take on Jason, and my favorite thing is the score itself, dude. Because yeah, dude, it really, like one of you guys mentioned, it does feel like those early Friday films for sure. Uh, and that was the main, you know, uh, 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 the main thing that stuck out to me. Yeah, so it is a commercial, you know, promotional piece by Angry, you know, Archer or Orchard, whatever how you pronounce that. Like I said, once you get into it, you kind of forget the whole thing. They do have, you know, the characters drinking on the Angry Orchard beer. Obviously, that's like a, you know, that's like a given. But I mean, it was cool. I like that connection though. I do like that connection because, you know, it's a nice, like I said, a nice marketing strategy. Like I said, they could have gave us this short film just like nothing, just straight to YouTube. But since it was like an actual premiere, you know, involved with this Angry Orchard beer company or whatever, it kind of, you know, raised up the stakes a little bit, you know. For sure, mutant theater. I think that's gonna be the case, dude. No matter what, uh, you know, I think they're gonna, you know, they're gonna step it up. Like I doubt it. They're gonna remain, you know, they're gonna remain like this. You know, they might they might step it up a little bit as far as, you know, production and cinematography, because obviously a movie has to be nice. You know, more of a bigger budget. But as far as, you know, the tone of it and everything, I really hope they maintain it, dude. Even with the movie, same with the with what's it called? With the show, with the Crystal Lake show. Because yeah, dude, because I think they did an okay job on that, you know. But yeah, they're gonna get it together, most definitely. Yeah, RBH. Yeah, the chevrons are really off. You know, that's like the main issue with the new mask. Well, now looking at the you know, product itself, like like the chevrons and everything, it kind of goes out the picture. And what you kind of see more is just that big ass mask on the guy's head, dude. Like it just looks huge. It looks huge, and it looks silly at points, dude. Like there's some nice shots of Jason, like I said, when he enters the house, but there's certain shots, dude, where yeah, the mask just looks, you know, it looks awful, dude. Especially if you're gonna get close up shots and stuff like that. But but yeah, for sure the mask was a big it was a big, you know, it was a major key to the disappointment to this, you know. It really played a big role. You know, the mask. Like I said, the Jason himself, his physique, kind of threw me off as well. But I think the mask, dude, really, it probably looks worse than here than how it does from the online pictures we've seen. Hey man, you never know. You definitely never know, man. I know Roy Burns is a fan favorite. They might, either the show or whatever. We might get a mention. Who knows? But obviously, they got more stuff to fulfill. Before we get into any of that, we still got the whole Pamela story. So, and that's the main thing I think we're all looking forward to, dude. Is the prequel storyline, because yes, we were all looking forward to our new Jason, but I think the whole Pamela prequel thing is really at least what I'm looking forward to the most. It was cool to see Jason, our new Jason. But I mean, I hope the Crystal Lake show makes up for it, man. Because like I said, I think this is a nice. I think this is how it's gonna feel. The Crystal Lake show, it's definitely gonna feel like this. Like I said, this thing has like TV show written all over it. It feels like a TV movie, TV show, whatever you want to call it. So I hope they kind of maintain that. Wild Foxy, appreciate you, man. Yeah, this is a custom Roy Burns mask I made. RBH, for sure, man. Definitely check it out. Definitely let us know what you thought about it. Corey too busy hiding under the Christmas tree. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, Corey's running around, with this Silent Night, Deadly Night stuff. Yeah, who knows how's that gonna turn out? But honestly, dude, I could really see it being a flop, dude. To keep it real, like I know it does have an advantage because it is a Christmas movie. People like that, I guess. People like those fun kind of movies. But would Corey, would he be able to pull it off like the original Billy from Silent Night, Deadly Night? I doubt it, man. I really do doubt it. But yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I guess we gotta wait and see what Corey does for the new remake, Silent Night, Deadly Night remake. What did you get there, Michael Myers? Hot Pot, what's up, man? I like the shot of the mask. Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, like I said, there's some nice shots of Jason in this. Like I said, when he enters the house, when he carries the girl, right, and throws her into the window. But yeah, there's certain shots, dude, where the mask just looks awful, dude. It looks way too big. It looks way too big. They could also kind of work it, like if they were to keep this mask, which I doubt it, but if they were to keep this mask, I think they could work around it. Like I said, it all depends on angles, lighting. Like in this short film, we didn't get like a straight up, face to face look at Jason. Like you see him, from certain angles, you really don't get a full close up look at him. So they could kind of work it around doing that, giving us little glimpses of it, from different angles. But I mean, I still hope though. I really still hope that they work around the mask and just the whole Jason as a whole, because like I said, dude, this new Jason, I think the actor who's playing adult Jason, he's our youngest Jason we've gotten so far. Usually in the previous movies, Kane Hodder, all them dudes, they're a little bit more, they're stuntmans, dude. I mean, they're more experienced. So it could be that as well, man. All the Jasons we've gotten in the past, they're experienced. You know, they were stuntmans, at least most of them. You know, and like I said, even if you look at part three, part four, Jason is still has that. You know, obviously he is deformed, but he still has that, you know, kind of regular guy, you know, physique. He has that, you know, regular size dude physique size. Obviously he's deformed. He could be a little bit more buffer. But this one, man, I don't know, man. It just seemed, like I said, like just a teenager in a Jason costume, you know, to keep it real. Uh, but yeah, man, that was my main gripe. Yeah, that was my main gripe. Jason himself, man. Uh, but the other stuff was okay. Like I said, the gore was cool. Uh, like I said, I hope when it comes to the gore, they don't, you know, they keep it under, you know, under control. You know, they don't go too crazy on it. Even though, you know, Friday, obviously Friday the 13th has to be gory, but and yeah, we had a nice handful of gore here, which was, it was okay. It wasn't distracting, like for example Terrifier style. No, I don't want to see none of that. I want, like, this was okay. uh and like I said, we still got more in store, dude. This is just a short film. Obviously they're gonna, you know, they're gonna have more in store for us. Hot Pot, yeah, dude, I agree, man. The ending was just the whole concept of, you know, this girl turning into a zombie and then trying to go face to face with Jason. It just seemed dumb, dude. I don't know, dude. Like I said, when I first saw this, it didn't occur to me she's like this zombie kind of thing. I mean, obviously, like I said, she made it out of alive from the lake, so obviously something is up. I guess the Crystal Lake powers that be, you know, turned her into a zombie, right? But it didn't occur to me. It didn't occur to me till a lot of people started talking about it. You know, that she, I guess she came out to be the zombie. That whole aspect, dude. Yeah, I think it's kind of stupid. But I do like the new final chick, dude. She's hot. You know, I hope we get more of her. Like I said, the acting was kind of off. And like I said, it's not like these characters, this new cast is like, you know, heavyweights. You know, it's not like they're like, I wouldn't say experienced actors. I'm pretty sure this new cast has been around for a while. They've been in several projects, but as far as you know, they're not heavyweights. Is what I'm trying to say. They're not popular names. They're not popular. You know, they're not major names. So it I hope, like I said, I think we're gonna see more of the. We're gonna see, you know, whatever backstory they have with this, or they could just be done with these characters. Uh, like I said, they don't really care for the characters, but the new final girl, uh, didn't care for her to turn into zombie, and then it ends with them, you know, Jason and her trying to face off. That's kind of stupid. I do agree. Uh, like really, it's not like a big ass cliffhanger over that I'm really looking forward to. Like nothing like that, man. Like I'm kind of glad they stopped it there. I really wouldn't want to see a face off between them two. Uh, would we eventually see that face off? Maybe. You know, like I said, I could see them going back to these characters. You know, either the show or the movie. Most likely the show. I think if they're gonna, you know, continue with this, pick up on this or, again, it might be the show. Uh, the new, you know what, Hapa? It was cool to hear it. It was cool to hear, you know, the new Mama, right? Uh, it just felt, I don't know, dude. It was okay, I guess, but it felt a little watered down. It felt like it just feels like, you know, I don't know, dude. How do you explain it? Like, like it doesn't feel like, I wouldn't say our original Jason, and I'm not expecting it for it to sound like our original Jason, but it just feels a little too. watered down, dude. It doesn't feel as intense, as creepy. It just sounds like a kind of like a lightish kind of voice, like I don't know. I really don't know how to explain it. Uh, but like I said, man, I guess more of a softer tone kind of version of it. Uh, but like I said, dude, I mean, our new Jason is more of a, you know, more of, you know, dude, I really don't, I don't know what words I'm trying to think of, dude. But, and I'm not trying to say like obviously he's not a regular dude in a costume, even though that's what it feels like it. But I don't know, dude. It just feels watered down. That's the only word I could think about it. But like I said, dude, that's not like the biggest. That's not like the biggest deal. You know, it's not the biggest deal. But like you said, Hapa, it was nice to hear that once again. Obviously, I mean, that's obvious. You know, they definitely had to add the, you know, classic sound. You know, for Jason. But yeah, dude, overall, it was okay. It was okay, dude. A solid 6 out of 10 for me. Wasn't expecting a whole lot, dude. But like I said, it's a nice first look, I guess. You know. Uh, like I said, dude, it definitely could have been worse. It definitely could have been worse. Like I said, people are calling. I've seen people already calling it the worst thing they've ever seen. Uh, and I don't get it, dude. I mean, I do get it. I get it because yeah, dude. After so many years, we. I guess people should expect more, dude. But for a 13-minute short film, dude, I really wasn't expecting a whole lot, dude. I mean, it was what I was expecting. You know, obviously, we were gonna see Jason in action, and yeah, dude. I mean, it could have been a lot worse, dude. It could have been a lot worse. It's not the worst thing ever. Like I said, they do get some points when it comes to, you know, the whole vibe it has to it. They get some points for that. Like I said, the characters, the main two that stood out was the guy from the beginning and the final chick. Uh, but you know, the soundtrack, obviously my favorite thing. The score. Uh, so they do get points for that. But as far as the worst thing, like worst shit ever, not at all, man. Not at all. Like I said, dude, they're gonna step it up. They're gonna step it up. You know, for sure. You know, this is kind of like a concept. It's kind of like a concept, something for them to, you know, work on. You know, like let's say if they were to carry this same, you know, vision, this same scenario into the show or the movie, it might not work. But like I said, dude, it's just a short film. It's funny. Some people even, you know, to me, it didn't really feel like a fan film. Uh, some people think some of the fan films are better. Uh, but like I said, dude, we have no story here. We have no substance here. We have nothing. Like it's just the first. It's just the first look, you know. So obviously, a fan film is obviously going to be more in detail, more story driven. Obviously, it has a script to follow. This is just, you know, something simple, dude. Like our first, you know, our first look. That's all really all I can think about, man. Our first look, and you know, yeah. So to me, it didn't really feel like a fan film specifically. It felt more of like a TV kind of product, you know. And like I said, dude, just based on that, it just gives me an instinct that they might carry this kind of style onto the TV show. Uh, like I said, I hope they do. I liked it. I like, they don't. It's nice and grounded, right? Uh, you know, whenever they do the movie, they definitely got to have a lot more substance in there. They got to have a lot more, more story driven. That's obvious, dude. But I could see them. I could see this kind of carrying on this same kind of style into the Crystal Lake show. Uh, I watched it. Yeah, man. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of people already, have given their thoughts, their reaction, or whatever. It's a 6 out of 10 for me, man. Nothing too crazy, dude. Like I really wasn't expecting a whole lot. Like I said, the whole short film thing could be kind of strange. Why would we get a short film? That was always my, since we were told we were gonna get a short film, it did seem kind of off because, for the past few years, man, we've been getting like fan films, a lot of Friday fan films, uh, and it kind of reminded me of that, and what's it called? And it just, it's just okay for me. It was okay. Like I said, it was solid enough, dude. Uh, like I said, the kills were pretty cool. Uh, but yeah, it is nice and flawed. Uh, I mean, it's only a 13-minute short film, dude. So for sure, it's gonna be flawed, dude. It's gonna be flawed. Obviously, a more in detail, episode or movie. They're gonna have a lot more in store for us. But it really, it did for me. It didn't really feel like a fan film. I thought it was. That was kind of like my, you know, I guess my intake, my that's how I was kind of basing this off. Kind of like another fan film kind of thing. Once we got the little teaser trailer for this, like I said, it has that modern, horror movie feel, kind of like an A24 kind of feel, uh, but at the same time, it does have that low budget, TV kind of movie, TV show vibe. So it wasn't. It's not horrible. It's not horrible. Like I said, the new Jason could be horrible. Could be pretty bad, man. But and like I said, I think a lot of people are basing this off of Jason, and they have the right to, because yeah, man, we after 16 years, we've been waiting. Obviously, we want to, Jason's the first thing we gotta, look into. For Jason's the first, he's the franchise, so they gotta get that right, But like I said, dude, other stuff I like more, the score, kind of 80s vibe it has. It was okay, Infinity Dragon, what's up, man? What's up? I got myself a new. Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, Trick or Treat Studios, pretty damn good company, man. That's dope, man. Yeah. Rubies is also pretty good. I know Rubies has kind of, they have ups and downs, dude, but Rubies is a company that's always been like around, dude. Like prior to Trick or Treat Studios, like Rubies was for sure one of the main ones. Yeah, for sure, Porn. I hope. I hope it's something solid, dude. Like I mentioned this in a few of the other live streams. I don't think he'll be as vicious as as the 2009 Jason. Uh, 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 And like I said, the 2009 remake also has issues, but it's still a nice, it's kind of like a product of the 2000s. Obviously it has our traditional Friday elements in here. This little piece captures the original more. Like I said, the even with the score with the remake, they didn't really try to make it sound like the older ones. And this one they kind of try to go back to the original. They had that whole scene, the girl in the boat, and then Jason or whoever that was, probably Pamela, Pamela's dead corpse, who brings the chick down from the boat. Nice reference, like I said, that's a nice reference to part 1, part 3. But it just looked quite silly here, man. I don't know if it's the whole new lighting, the whole modern take. I don't know. It just seemed kind of off to me. It worked way better in part 3, part 1. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I really like. I can't even fully. We can't really fully speak on it, dude, because like I said, it's like a short. It's like a short first look, man. It's not like it wouldn't be. I don't think it'll do justice by us trying to compare it. Because it's not a full length movie or anything like that. But as far as Jason, yeah, dude, I feel like any Jason from the franchise could easily knock this new Jason out of the way. To keep it real with you guys, yeah, Hot Pot, yeah. I like how you put that. It looks like a Funko Pop. Like I said, it just looks silly. It looks cartoonish, animated. Funko Pops, they look silly. They look cartoonish. And that's how it looks like, dude, for sure. Like I said, there's some shots in here where it looks pretty cool, because, the lighting, dark lighting or whatever. But overall, dude, like, yeah, it looks too cartoonish, too, and like it just looks like some how do you call it, some it just looks like graphics from, like, for example, like a Friday the 13th game or something. It really does, and ever since we got the first concept look of this Jason, those are the total vibes I got from it, dude. It looks like a video game version, and like I said, we were hoping once on screen, in action, it might have looked a little better, but it really didn't, dude. It really didn't improve it. Like I said, they could work around it as far as angles and lighting, but yeah, dude. Let's say Jason has to, shoot a scene in daytime. Oh man, I can't imagine. I can't imagine this new Jason in like a daytime scene, where we get a nice look of Jason. Like I said, obviously here it's dark, so there's some okay shots, but like I said, there's a nice handful of shots in here where you could obviously get a nice look at the mask, and it just looks huge, dude. I don't know. I don't know, dude. It's just, maybe this new Jason, maybe if he was a little bit more muscular, could probably make it look better. But yeah, but that's how what I got from it. It just felt like a cheap Jason, dude. A dude in a Halloween costume. It's crazy, man, for sure. Wild Foxy, appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you, man. Hope you have a good one. Infinity Dragon 7. I think the Terrifier crew should make a Friday the 13th movie. I've been hearing that for a while now. I heard, Damien Leone was interested in a Friday the 13th. I don't know, man. I really don't see it. I think he'll do a good job as far as, kills which is really important when it comes to Friday. He'll do a good job, obviously with gore and the kills. It might be too over the top for our liking. Like I said, if they were to do a Friday, I could see them going the Terrifier route, the Terrifier style of gore, just a gore fest, right? Like I said, that's really important to Friday. Friday, it's meant to be fun, dude. It's meant to, it's meant for the kills, and I also do think they'll do a good job, capturing kind of, that old school vibe as well, man. I mean, the Terrifier does have that, that's one of my positives from the Terrifier movies. Even though, there's a lot of shit going on, but they kind of still have that, kind of vintage 80s slasher vibe to it, So I think they'll do a good job as far as that. But I don't know. I could just see them, just having too much fun, dude. And when you have too much fun, it could be, a bad thing. Because, for example, look at Chucky, the show, even the last few movies, you could tell they had way too much fun, dude, and we got a shit show. So I don't know. Like me personally, I think I'll probably prefer like A24 or something, maybe. Who knows, dude? I really, as far as a new movie, we've heard Blumhouse might do it. I hope it's not true, man. I don't know, man. I really can't, like, I don't know what to think for the movie. Like, the whole movie thing, like I said, it was announced they're working on, but I can't really fully, hold grip with it yet, because I'm kind of more concerned on the show. Like, I feel we're going to get the show first, then the movie, for sure, I know they announced, the new movie, they announced the new game, so everyone is kind of expecting everything like at once, but I could see the new movie not coming out until like the next 2 years or something. Like I said, I think the Crystal Lake show is the main focus, the main, I think for the creators as well, unless the movie is by someone else and, the Crystal Lake is another thing. But for me, I'm kind of more focused on the show, more than the actual movie. But as much as we would have loved to seen a movie instead of the show. The show could possibly have a little bit more potential, man. And I'm not basing that off just because it's a TV show, because we've gotten a lot of crappy shows. A lot of horror shows have gotten, they really didn't go nowhere. They ended up being crap. But my hope for the show comes from the whole, backstory. I think the whole Pamela backstory might, make up for it. It might, we kind of might forget that it's a show. You know what I mean? And like I said, it all depends as well. Who knows how well or how bad, the show, the prequel story is going to be written. It could be a crappy written, storyline. Who knows, dude? Or it could be pretty good. So the hope is there. My hope for the show is the prequel aspect, Some people might not care for it. Some people might, like I said, some people just want Jason, dude. But it's a nice start. For the show to start off with the prequel, with the Pamela Voorhees storyline, it really it's a nice start, dude. Like I said, people might want to see, and maybe they gave us this short film just for we could, like I said, so we can have a taste of adult Jason, because like I said, the show's gonna start off with a young Jason, Pamela, of course. So, people might not, people just want to cut to the chase, adult Jason. And, if the show does end up having adult Jason down the line, it's not going to be for another, season or episodes. Obviously, like I said, the prequel is going to be first. So this short film could be, maybe that's the reason for the short film. To give it the first look at adult Jason. Quick second, guys. So yeah, guys, to me, it's not the worst. It's not the worst, dude. It's not the worst thing ever. Like I said, dude, a lot of people are really disappointed. With this short film. But like I said, dude, it's not the biggest deal, Like, it would have been more disappointing if it was actually like a actual movie, or not an actual movie, but kind of like a mini movie, because yeah, it really, this is more of like a commercial piece, like I said. But if this was an actual nice length movie, or let's say like a straight to streaming movie or something like that, I think that's when we really should be disappointed. Like I said, who knows? People might be disappointed, and I'll be disappointed as well if this is what they're gonna move on with. If this is, if this is what they're gonna do with the show or the movie, I'll be disappointed, dude. But like I said, the fact that it is a short film, it doesn't. It's not as like, I could live with this. Like, I could honestly live with this. Like I said, obviously they're gonna look at the reception and everything, and they're gonna step it up, dude. Most definitely. Porn star. Yeah, that's very true, dude. Like I said, I didn't really get fan film vibes. Excuse me. Fan film vibes. I mean, kinda. Yeah, especially our Jason, for sure. Yeah. When it comes to Jason, it does feel like a random, random dude playing Jason on like a YouTube film or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, like you said, porn star. This was kind of something simple, that any of us could really, make. Like I said, it kind of does feel like a fan film in a way, but at the same time, like I get more TV vibes from this than like a fan film. But I do agree, it's really, it's a simple premise. Any of us could, do this. And I mean, who knows? I mean, some people say some of the fan films are even better than this, which is kind of obvious, dude, because I mean, like I said, dude, a fan film has a storyline to follow, has, a concept. This probably does have a concept, but I think, like I said, the main reason for this, the main purpose, is just to give us a first look, man. But I mean, it's okay. It's not great. It's not terrible neither. It's not the worst thing I've seen. I mean, it was just okay, I guess. Is it better than Halloween 2018? I'm kidding, guys. I mean, at least kills, ends. Like I said, it's not really fair because, those are literally full-length movies. There's a short film. But like I said, dude, I like I prefer this could be better than the kills and ends as far as stupid decisions and this cringy vibe to it. Because like I said, it doesn't really have that. Maybe it maybe could maybe in the show or the movie they're gonna have their dumb lines here and there. They're gonna add their stupid shit, but who knows, dude? Like I said, all the woke shit and all that, which they try to flood in everything nowadays, dude. Movies, all that shit, dude. But like I said, this piece reminds me of you know of a nice fun time as far as when it comes to slasher films. Obviously, slasher films are meant to be a bit, you could say, quirky, a little over the top, like we were talking about earlier, the 2009 remake has a nice tone to it. I know some of the characters, they're dumb characters, dumb lines too, but that was like 2000s kind of humor. And dude, the humor today is just worse. It's even worse. So I hope they don't have none of that. Obviously, it's gonna have it. Obviously, it's gonna have it. But like I said, I hope it's not every damn scene, because obviously there's always gonna be a character too who is just a silly one or whatever. It's gonna have that. I'm not saying don't have that at all. It's gonna have that, dude. But don't make it be too, just too corny, man. Too corny, like the Chucky show, dude. Like, it just, like I hope they just stay true to the core fan base, because, dude, like, for example, when you look at Chucky, dude, it feels like a kid's Chucky, a kid version of Chucky, and I don't want to see that with Friday, man. Them trying to appeal to these young kids, trying to get these young kids into horror. A lot of people, a lot of filmmakers, they wanna cater to the new audience, and kind of leaves us, the core fan base kind of hanging. At least from what I've seen from like a lot of the like Kills and Ends is like a perfect example of that. But yeah, I really hope it's nothing like that, man. Like I said, even though this was just only 13 minutes, I like that they didn't even waste a minute on a dumb joke or none of that crap, because they easily could have. They easily could have done it. Like I said, I get it's Friday. I understand it's Friday the 13th. It's supposed to be, quite campy, cheesy. Like I said, I don't mind that. If they, like I said, if they were to have that, in the movie or in the show, it'll do it justice for sure. But like I said, I'm, as far as over the top, jokes and shit like that, I really don't want to see none of that crap, man, because that tends to be the downfall of everything. Chucky show, all this, right? Halloween. So I hope I hope they keep it in this nice grounded tone. And yeah, dude, like, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. It was okay. Give the actor some shoulder pads. It could be that, dude. Like I said, I just feel he was just too skinny, dude. He was too skinny. Like I said, this new Jason is our very first. I think he's the youngest guy who's ever played Jason. And like I said, dude, our man, I don't know. I just hope they don't water him down even more, dude. Because based on this Jason, dude, he especially from what we had before, dude, massive ass Derek Mears, Ken Kersinger, Kane Hodder, dude. Like, no, man. I hope they don't. I hope they don't weaken Jason, dude. I hope they don't, water him down even more. I've always hoped, Jason to remain a badass. And like I said, he did his thing in this little short film. The way he killed, he threw, you know, he threw whatever it was to the guy, and he died instantly. You know, he got his moves for sure, but it's just the, you know, physique, dude. It's just, like I said, it just looks like a regular dude in a costume. But maybe some shoulder pads might help him, dude, or maybe a nice workout or something, man. Like I said, you guys got to remember, and I could be wrong too. I have no idea who this new guy is who's playing Jason. I don't have no idea what he's done before, but you guys got to keep in mind, man. All the Jasons we've had before, they were stuntmans. They were, you know, they were experienced. So it could be that as well. You know, it could be that as well. I don't know, dude. It's just this Jason really isn't as menacing as, you know, what we've had in the past. Like I said, even the last Jason, dude, Derek Mears, I would have loved to seen him return, man. I get it. People want to move on. They want to move on. They don't want to kind of confuse, you know, kind of try to connect the remake with this new stuff they got going on. But, you know, Derek Mears, dude, I would have loved to seen him as Jason again, man, for sure. Who knows who knows, you know, how his look is going to be unmasked. Who really does know? I mean, he might have more of a zombie look, more of a actual, you know, like a regular deformed look, kind of like part 3, part 4. Who really does know, dude? Who really does know? That's eventually gonna be revealed. You know, if it does get revealed, dude. Even like like I said, it just looks so cheap, dude. It even looks like the guy's wearing like a hood. You know, like I get no deformed kind of vibes from this Jason at all. And I know we did not see him unmasked or nothing, but he just it just feels like a cheap costume, dude. You know, to be honest. I remember. Oh yeah, for sure, Infinity Dragon. I used to wear that mask a lot, man. The Rob Zombie, Young Myers clown mask. I stopped wearing it because, you know, it was, I guess it was comfortable, but these are more comfortable because I know I'm in here talking. I'd be sweating sometimes, as you guys notice. I have to step aside, clean the sweat. But, you know, that one is a little, you know, it's kind of like a cheap kind of plastic. So, kind of didn't want to damage it with sweat. Plus, it had like the tag. I rather have it, you know, hung up on the wall. But yeah, I used to wear it a lot. 5.8 out of 10. Yeah, porn star. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people give it like a 5 out of, you know, 10, 6 out of 10. It's kind of like in the middle, dude. Because yeah, that's what I think too. Like I said, I could have easily gave it a, you know, 4 or 5, but I give it a 6 because, like I said, the anticipation was there. Like I said, the score I really did like. They get points for that. The new chick was okay. You know, the Crystal Lake vibe it has. So it gets some points, dude. I guess, you know. Like I said, I feel just the whole new Jason, man, is what kind of overshadowed everything. Like I said, people are more focused on the new Jason. Like I said, which we have the right to, because Jason is this franchise. He's what carries this. I don't see this Jason carrying on a movie or a TV show. I really don't, man. Like I think people just wouldn't, you know. Like I said, dude, I just hope, you know. Obviously, people who are gonna get introduced to this new Jason, to a lot of people, it's gonna be their introduction. So they're not gonna look at it the same way as us, you know, the core fan base does, right? But I don't know, dude. Like I said, I don't know if the new Jason being a little bit more smaller, physically wise, is gonna mean that it's gonna like I said, he's still gonna do his rampage. He's still gonna do his thing, from what we've seen in the few kills here. But I don't know, dude. And like I said, we were talking about the way it ended, dude. I could see the final girl taking him on, like for real, man. Like Corey took on Michael in Halloween Ends, literally like drops him on the floor or something. Embarrassing, dude. Like I could literally see that with this, you know. Uh, I don't know, dude. It's just really strange, man. It's a strange thing. The ending, man. It was, you know, like I said, I'm kind of glad they didn't show their face down. Uh, that probably might have been more embarrassing. But yeah, but the whole thing, the girl turning into a zombie or whatever, I guess it makes sense because, Crystal Lake, who knows what's under there, it is a possibility, dude, but I just don't see no point in that, dude. I just really don't. I don't know if they just did it for them to have that, for them to remake that classic scene, grabbing the girl from the boat, or they wanted to make her, like a badass that could take on Jason. Like I said, at first when I saw it, it really seemed strange how she survived that, stab with the machete and she took it out like nothing, dude. Obviously that, you know, that says a lot. Maybe they did it for that, like I said, or they probably just did it just to recreate that classic scene. Who knows, dude? But I don't know, dude. It just seemed really weird, dude. Because have we seen that before in any Friday? I really don't think so, dude. Like really, man. Like, and I get it. They're probably trying to try something new, but that's just kind of dumb, if you ask me. Like for that to be like a main plot point. People who get attacked in the lake and then they come out to be zombies or whatever, and they come out. Is that gonna give them powers to face on Jason? Like, it's really strange, dude. So yeah, I do agree with that whole aspect. It was kind of strange, dude. They could have easily had the girl. They could make this girl a badass. Like I said, I think this new final girl's dope. She has the looks, dude. She has she could have easily took on Jason like any other female final girl has in the franchise without turning into a creature zombie or whatever it is, uh or I guess she's like turned more evil. I got no clue, man, because the chick, she ends up like killing the other chick when they're driving the car. They could have made her a badass, dude, like especially like after the events, right? They really should have made her like a fight back, type of final girl, not no, we've had a lot of final girls like that in a lot of franchises, those that don't back down, nice handful of them. And then we also have our sensitive final girls, they're just there to survive. But the whole zombie thing, it was just unnecessary, dude. In my opinion, fuck Halloween. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Like I said, the corniness of kills and ends is worse than this little 13-minute thing, man. To keep it real, man, because like I said, this still had a nice kind of horror element to it. Like I said, the score plays a big part. For sure, dude. Like I know it's unfair. We can't really compare this to anything or to any Friday movie because it's not a full-length film. But as far as tone, I could say that. I think we could say that. It's safe to say that. Chucky's done turned into actual child's play, man. Yeah, man. And that's my worry. That's my main worry, man. With this, with this show, or mostly the show, yeah, because movies, the movies have kind of done that. Not really though. Like a lot of full length movies have been watered down. Uh, I mean, Halloween, the Blumhouse Halloween, that's a perfect example. But like I said, man, I feel like they do it more. It's more possible for a show because you know, it, I guess a show is more. It's not really. It's not like they gravitate towards the rated R audience. A show is just gonna do whatever. They're gonna it's gonna I don't know, dude, but I feel like a show, it has more of like PG-13 kind of feels to it, man. And like I said, that's my main worry, dude, because that's what ended up happening to Chucky. Uh, we know Don Mancini. He's really into all this, quirky stuff, all this, cringy stuff. Uh, so it could just be a Don Mancini thing, but I doubt it, dude. Like if they were really like, I really don't know, man. But I hope, man. I hope they don't. I hope they don't water the content down. They might have watered the character Jason down, but the content, man, I really hope they don't. I just hope they keep it true, man. They keep it true to its foundation, dude. Because if not, it's gonna sink. It's gonna sink. Look at Chucky, man. He's just more of a joke than ever. I know a lot of people, a lot of fans. A lot of fans of Chucky for sure. But there's also a nice handful of people who never really, they're hardcore horror fans, but never really, Chucky's never gravitated towards them because he's meant to be, I guess, a silly character. He's a doll. But as far as Jason, dude, like I just hope they don't kind of reminds me of kind of like in Freddy versus Jason. They kind of try to make him afraid of water and all this crap, dude. I hope they don't do none of that bullshit, man, because I'm gonna be really disappointed, dude. Especially like I said, after 16 years, and for them to give us, a soft Jason. He has the looks. Our new Jason has the looks of a soft, watered down, Jason for sure. I could see them trying to experiment with a lot of different shit, man. Like I said, I could see this new Final Girl taking on this new Jason, But yeah, and yeah, like I said, man, I think that's a downfall for a lot of stuff, man. They lose touch, man, and they just aim for the typical audience, I guess. Venom, this Jason Scrawny. Yeah, man, for sure. Like I said, this new Jason definitely needs work. They really should have gotten what's it called? A experienced guy, dude. Probably not a stuntman, but at least someone, a little bit more, I guess, menacing, a little bit more, who will stand their ground, I guess. Like, really, man. Like, this Jason, man. Like, I just really. He just doesn't seem that intimidating Jason we all love, Like, let's change the fact that, okay, he could have had this same crappy mask, his same shitty look, right? But if it was like an actual, more bigger, more, muscular guy, playing Jason, that probably would have changed the whole thing. Like I said, it could be, I think it also had to do with, who's behind the costume, who's, the moves and everything. I think that really plays a large role, man. Like I said, in this short film, he did his thing. Pretty solid kills, but I feel like anyone could take him on, man. Like really, dude. Like, and also too, I mean, it's whatever. It's not like the biggest deal. The first kill, the very first time Jason comes in, he grabs the little, whatever weapon that was, the little fish thing. Uh, that was kind of strange. Like I said, it's kind of like a reason for them to have a cool little kill, man. But I don't know. They should have started it off by the traditional Jason with the machete, But like I said, the kills are there, the moves are there. I guess But yeah, dude, this new Jason really does not feel as intimidating, dude, as you know, as how do you call it? As yeah, intimidating. As he's not a badass. We're all expecting for Jason to be a badass like he was in the remake, or Kane Hodder Jason. But yeah, I feel like any other Jason could take on this new one. Uh, I liked it. I liked it better than part 3. You Venom, you liked this new Jason better than the part 3 Jason? That's crazy, man. I mean, I get you. Like, if that's your opinion, that's cool, man. But me personally, who has been attached to the to the originals, man. And yeah, I know in a lot of the originals, man, Jason does take some beating. He does get there's some points in the originals he does get taken down, but I don't know, dude. But of course, in the originals he looks like a not a fully zombie monster yet, but he still looks like a deformed kind of strange kind of guy or whatever. Like I said, in part 3, part 4, he has that kind of that hunchback feel, that hunchback look. A little, he was a little bit more muscular, so it could be that, dude. I don't know. I just think this new Jason was like scrawny, like one of you guys said. Like just too. It just felt like a regular guy in a costume. How are? Yeah, Hapa. I mean, like I said, it is. I get it. I get the point of view from the hardcore fans. I get their point of view, dude. Because yes, we've been waiting so long, especially and just for this. But at the same time, dude, it's not like a full length movie. It's not it's not like the first episode to the show. So as far as people calling it the worst thing they've ever seen and all this crap, man, I don't get it. Like, I really don't. Like I said, I get it from the point of Jason. Like I said, we're tuned in. We're all looking forward to our new Jason. And that kind of, blindsided us a little bit. That kind of like made us not focus on the other stuff, Don't get me wrong, dude. Like, it's not just Jason. The acting was kind of crap, No, I wouldn't say that's crap, but it wasn't great. It wasn't, it does have, it's a nice, it has flaws, dude, but I think just we're just looking too deep into it. Like I said, it's only a little commercial, man, short film. I really wasn't expecting a whole lot, dude. Like, it didn't beat my expectations at all. Like, it wasn't nothing surprising. It wasn't nothing lower than what I expected, but I guess it was what I expected, But yeah, like I said, it's just a little ad, dude. It's just a little, first look. And yeah, I mean, like I said, it's enough for us to see what they got in store for us, what's to come. Like I said, the main takeout from this whole thing, our main issue with this is Jason. which, like I said, we all have the right to really dislike it, because yeah, after so many years, and we get this, I get it, dude. But it's not the worst thing it's not the worst thing I've seen, at least, you know. Uh, like I said, I like the tone of it. I hope they, like I said, from, you know, when I first reacted to the trailer, it really gave me like TV. It really felt like a TV kind of thing, TV product, you know. So I could see this kind of style, this kind of world transferring into the show, you know. Like I said, a lot of, you know, issues with this, you know, the whole, you know, ending. Of course, Jason's the main issue, but I really, you know, like I said, my favorite thing about this is the score, man, the soundtrack. Like I said, they gave us that, you know, class. It's kind of like when John Carpenter went back, and, you know, for the Blumhouse movies, or at least the first one, at least the first Halloween, you know, obviously he gave us, you know, those classic Halloween sounds, uh, you know, that classic Halloween score, obviously with a nice modern touch to it. So, and this is what it really felt like. It, you know, it really does feel like if, you know, Matt Freeney was involved in the soundtrack, because yeah, it definitely has that, you know, classic you know, Friday sound to it. You know, Supernatural, Crystal Lake, man. I mean, they might touch on that. Like I said, the whole girl turning into, you know, a zombie or whatever it was. That was kind of dumb, dude. Uh, like really, like I said, I don't know if the reason for that was for her to face off Jason, or what, but you know, it really wasn't it really wasn't necessary, dude. Like I said, the first time I saw it, I didn't even notice, dude. I didn't even like it. Like I said, when she got stabbed with the machete and she survived, I'm like, okay, there's no way. But I guess that's that's the explanation, right? I guess she's a zombie or whatever. But that was kind of sick. That was kind of dumb, if you ask me. I have my full Jason, man, on my profile picture. That's dope, man. Yeah, looks pretty cool, man. Castlier Daniel Garcia. Yeah, I'm still not sure what it was. I don't think it was Jason, though. It probably could be, you know, a deceased Pamela. You know, in that one scene. Like, I get it. Like I said, I get it. It's a nice reference, nice tribute to that, you know, classic scene from the original. Uh, they pulled it off nicely in part 3 as well. But I don't know. It just really, I wasn't a fan of it. It just looked weird, dude. It just looked, I don't know if it's because, you know, the lighting, you know, it's bright as day. I mean, so were the ones in the original, you know, it was bright day, but I don't know, dude. It just seemed off, dude. I didn't really like it, you know, that, you know, the whole boat scene, they dragged the girl down. I don't know, man. Oh yeah, for sure, Daniel. Yeah, like I said, the kills were pretty. They were pretty cool. We also did get a nice handful of gore. You know, like some of the, and I know most of the characters they showed dead. Obviously, they were kills that were off screen, but like the kills were okay, dude. Like the kills were okay. They weren't as bad. Like I said, uh, I guess they're Jason style kills or whatever. You know, I think I don't like how we see. Yeah, Hapa, like I said, the whole ending, man, with the girl, you know, the whole supernatural element. I don't know, man. It just seemed really, it just seemed odd. it really did seem really odd. Like I said, they could have easily just made her a badass final girl who fights back. But they had to make her into like this zombie kind of creature, supernatural thing. Like I don't know, dude. I hope they don't continue with that. Because yeah, dude, what's the point? Like, what's the point of Jason? Of having Jason in here if we're gonna have the whole supernatural shit in the mix as well? I don't know, dude. Like I said, we haven't really seen that in the previous Fridays, but like I said, I guess they're trying something new. Understandable, man, but I don't know. I think the supernatural aspect really takes away from a lot, from the traditional Friday. I think. Oh yeah, man, Mancini. Yeah, man. I don't know if they get a kick out of this stuff, man, but yeah, all the stuff that transpired with that Chucky show really says a lot, man. And like I said, man, obviously it's not, you know, Chucky's more of a silly character, so I understand. I understand for them to go that route with Chucky, but I hope, dude, they don't water this showdown like they did with Chucky, dude, because it'll just be disappointing, dude. It really will. Uh, oh yeah, man, the Evil Dead films, yeah, man, for sure. I mean, the last one was the remake, Evil Dead Rise. Uh, I think they're working on the next one right now, Evil Dead Burns. They've been doing pretty good over there. Nathan Jones should be the new Jason. Not really sure who that is, man. I'm not even sure who's the new guy playing Jason. But like I said, dude, I think, like I said, he's the youngest Jason. He's the youngest guy to ever play Jason. As far as adult Jason, uh, I don't know, dude. Like I said, they should have gotten a stuntman or something, man. Someone with more experienced. Like I said, I'm still not sure what the new actor for Jason has done. Uh, but yeah, dude, but like I said, it's just way different. Like I said, I don't expect Jason to be this big ass, Frankenstein kind of monster like in Freddy versus Jason. But at least, like one of you guys said earlier, man, at least some shoulder pads or something. Because yeah, something was really off, dude. Like I said, it just seemed like a regular guy in a costume. Uh, the mask itself, like I said, looks crap, but I just think it's Jason. I think that's the problem. Jason, his physique overall, you know, I think it's the Jason. Uh, Slasher Movies 410. What's up, man? What's up, man? Just here chilling. Just a little live stream, man. I've been on here for a while now, but talking about the new Sweet Revenge little short film that we got yesterday, commercial piece. I gave it a 6 out of 10, man. Nothing great specifically. Well, to be specific, the soundtrack, man, the score really carried on this little short film. Like I said, I really don't want to like critique. Like, it has its issues. A lot of stuff I'm not digging. Like I said, Jason's the main gripe here. But I don't really want to crap on it as much, man, because you guys got to remember it's a little short film. It's really it's not we can't go too rough on it because it is like I said earlier, it's not like a full-length film or anything like that. It's just a 13-minute commercial, man. And like I said, even some people, the whole commercial aspect kind of went out of the way. Some people it feels like it doesn't even feel like a commercial. But obviously they got angry Arkerd or whatever. Their product is in the movie or not in the short film. It's there for sure. You got the characters drinking the beer, right? But and I think that's, as far as the commercial piece, I mean, what more could they do with the actual product? I mean, unless you're gonna have, you know, it's funny. I saw, like, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was on Instagram or YouTube. You know, some people were saying, you know, in the ending when the girl and Jason are about to face off, uh, you know, some people even like were expecting for them to, like, you know, cheer with the beer or something, for them to share like the beer. But you know, like I said, when you know, when you watch it, the whole commercial thing goes out of the way. Uh, but yeah, like I said, it's okay, man. I really don't. I'm not like as disappointed, you know. Right when it premiered yesterday, I was right here ready to try to watch it, and honestly, I think that's all that matters, dude. I think all that matters is that, you know, we were able to get a first look. You know, they could have easily just waited till the show comes out or something. You know, uh, like I said, if it was a little bit more of a full length kind of feature, uh, yeah, we could possibly, you know, dig more deep and critique it, right? But it's just, you know, and like I said, dude, it could possibly, this style, this world, right, could possibly move on to the movie or to the show. But I think they're gonna, you know, they're gonna step it up a notch. I feel like the creators are gonna see the reception of this and kind of try to improve it. If they don't and they stick to this, you know, that could be, you know, kind of lazy on their part. But like I said, it's not like it's a like a full first episode of the show, or you know, or you know, like at least a trailer for a movie. Like if it was a trailer for a movie, yeah, right there, that's when I feel like we could actually, you know, give more into detailed thoughts and, you know, take it apart a little bit more. But like I said, dude, it did its trick. It did its trick. It had Jason doing his thing, man. And besides the flaws, dude, it did its thing, you know? It did what it was supposed to, you know? But that's just my opinion. Like I said, I really try, since yesterday, since I saw it, I seen it a nice 3 times already. I still try to, you know, not to go as hard on it, man, because it's a, you know, it's a commercial. Not, I hate saying that it's a commercial, because it really does not feel like a commercial. To me, it's more of a first look. You know what I mean? The Rock has Jason. Oh, okay. No, I think we got to slow down a little bit more. Uh, yeah, you know, but you know what I mean, though. Like muscular, uh, intimidating, taller, most definitely. You know, but was imposing in Charlie's Farm. Norman Fleming, can you imagine? You know what, man? I really, you know, I'm not too familiar with like WWE and like, you know, those names. But so I really couldn't tell you, man. Like I really can't imagine it. But I mean, I wouldn't say like a full on wrestler to take on Jason. Uh, that could, they could be a little too buff for Jason. Uh, but I don't know, just more intimidating, dude. Like Derek Mears, 2009. He really wasn't as muscular. I mean, kinda, yeah, but he was, you know, he was massive. He was tall, right? And that's what really made him intimidating. Tyler Mane, Rob Zombie's remake, intimidating as Michael, right? He was big. He's not like a big ass buff kind of guy, but he was still, you know, quite frightening, man, intimidating. So they could have done a lot better, man, with the you know, with the choice of Jason, who they chose to be Jason, man. And like I said, from the past, it's been mostly for stuntmans. So the stuntmans already have that, natural kind of, disaster, you could say, destruction, uh, you know, take or whatever in their physique. Like they're well experienced. So that kind of actor, always worked with Jason. Uh, the Michaels, George P. Wilbur was a stuntman. Uh, so yeah, dude, they really, should have, like I said, if they got someone more experienced, more of a stuntman like for this new Jason, his new look could possibly might have looked different. Even though the mask is still gonna remain crap and his new look is still gonna remain crap. Uh, Someone who's a little bit more, experienced could have possibly gave it a better look. Because like I said, dude, the mask just looks way too big. It looks big on the guy's head. But yeah, dude, it's kind of strange. Oh yeah, for sure, dude. The elderly guy from the beginning, yeah, that was a lot of people's standout, man. And yeah, dude, he reminded me of a guy straight out of a Friday the 13th movie, for sure, man. He's the guy. He sees the kids coming into the camp. He knows the danger. Hell yeah, for sure. He was like the main standout, for sure. And yeah, I think out of the character, like I said, the characters didn't really care for, but he was the standout. He was the main standout. And then our new final girl, which she did okay. Like I said, the acting was kind of off, man. But you guys got to remember, man, it's a 13-minute, short, 13-minute short film. If they were to do, if this was an actual, movie or part of the show, I could see them. Obviously, they're gonna have to step it up. I could see them taking it more serious. But you could tell this was just a one-time piece they put together, a one-time project. But yeah, yeah, and like we said before, either the movie or the show, I doubt this is gonna be the Jason look from now on. This is just the first look. And yeah, dude, patience is key. I get it, dude. I mean, I really, I really would be excited to finally, get something, but like I said, dude, as crap as the new Jason looks, there is still some hope there. They might get a new guy or something. They might keep the same guy. They might, they might, they obviously they're gonna give him a change in his look. And like I said, dude, this is just the beginning. If they were to keep the same guy, obviously the actor who's playing Jason, if they're gonna keep him, obviously, man, he's gonna go through training and all that good stuff, man. So, like I said, it's disappointing for the first look, but like I said, I hope they still got more in store for us. If they were to keep this same kind of, like I said, if they were to keep the same style, I wouldn't mind. Like I said, it really gives me those TV vibes. Nothing too, out of the ordinary. So I really wouldn't mind for them to keep like the, the tone and stuff like that. But they definitely gotta, they definitely gotta work on Jason, dude, because yeah, they're gonna see. I feel like the creators are gonna see the disappointment, and they're gonna work their way around it. I thought it was insane that yeah, you know what, Norman Fleming. I mean, yeah, dude. I would have. I mean, I wouldn't even expect for her to come out of the freaking ocean, out of the lake. It's not really that she hold her breath, but I mean, whatever it was that, dragged her down the lake, she would have been dead, dude. But like I said, I guess the whole supernatural aspect comes into play. You know, yeah, it was strange. That whole, you know, the girl getting dragged into the lake and then coming out. You know, it kind of threw me off a little bit. Crystal Lake is cursed. Damn straight. Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like I said, I hope, especially with the show, they dive into that, because they kind of dived into it a little bit here with the, guy in the beginning. He didn't really necessarily tell them, the history or whatever. But, he kind of glimpsed it. He kind of glimpsed it. You could tell. Like I said, we might see these characters, the pre-story to what happened before, the events of this. But yeah, like the guy, the elderly guy, definitely reminded me of a guy straight out of a Friday the 13th movie. Uh, but yeah, man, for sure. So yeah, I hope they do that. I hope the show especially, they dive into the whole Crystal Lake setting, just the whole history, dude. And I think that might be the point for the Crystal Lake show, since they're doing, the Pamela backstory. How do you feel about the Hike Alone Jason short film? You know what, man? I think I only seen it once, but I really don't recall it as much. But it is definitely one of the most popular and, praised fan films out there. I know they even like, they had some people from, I think they got like, what's his name, Tommy from I think part 6. But it was good. Like it was a nice successful a fan film. Like I said, fan films they don't really go nowhere, dude. But Never Hike Alone, dude. Especially, I think also the absence of Friday the 13th and the absence of Jason really played a big part in the success of that fan film, because, like I said, dude, the fans, the people are they're they just can't wait. They just can't wait, man. Of course, so they're gonna gravitate towards the fan films. But it's a really well made fan film. It's so good. People even like to, connect it with the movies, like count it with the movies, with the franchise. But yeah, it was really, it was a really popular fan film for sure. Adam Green, man. Adam Green could probably pull it off, man, because yeah, those Hatchet movies really resemble, really, they have Friday the 13th written all over it for sure. So Adam Green would do a good job, dude. I definitely prefer Adam Green to take on a Friday film. Oh, for sure over Damien Leone, for sure. I would prefer Adam Green. Even what's his name? The Hostel dude, Eli Roth. Maybe Eli Roth could pull it off, man. I mean, Eli Roth did Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken. I know Hostel is like his most popular property, but he did Thanksgiving, which wasn't that great, but it has that nice, slasher elements to it. So maybe, dude, for sure. At least give her the telekinesis, like in part 7. Possibly, man. I mean, could be, kind of more preferred, than the whole, zombie thing that she turns into, I guess. Yeah, man. I don't know if they're trying to, give, the characters an advantage to take on Jason. I really don't know, man. I mean, the whole supernatural thing might seem odd right now, but they probably could pull it off, man. Who really does know? Like I said, in a lot of films, they try to, add the supernatural element, even though sometimes it didn't really work. A lot of people didn't really like it. Like, for example, Nightmare Part 2, they try to add the supernatural, element. Uh, they never really continued after that. But they still, tried it. They still experimented, I mean, Jason Goes to Hell has that kind of supernatural aspect. But, Jason Goes to Hell really doesn't, I feel like it's kind of its own thing. I don't think it really, obviously it's canon from the franchise, but it's Jason Goes to Hell is the more grounded movie. It's not as campy. Uh, they did it. There's not as much slasher elements. So they've done it before, dude. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, man, with the supernatural stuff. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, of course, Pamela has been dead. Obviously, Crystal Lake is cursed. So other than Jason, there obviously has to be something, haunting, the land, the grounds of Crystal Lake. But I don't know, dude. It just seemed strange to introduce it in this little short film, with the final girl. Uh, but yeah, man. I haven't watched the short yet. Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, since yesterday, a lot of people have been talking about it. Only a 13-minute short. Like I said, I've seen more, negative than positive. But it's not really something, to take as serious. Take as, like, I guess, how do you say, like, take it with a grain of salt or whatever they say. Like, it could be, like we definitely should expect more with the show or the movie, whatever we're gonna get next. But definitely, this Sweet Revenge short film really, like I said, even me, I really wasn't expecting a whole lot, dude. I was just expecting something simple and something, quick, and that's what it was, man. But I mean, like I said, it is the main takeaway, the main point to this, like I said earlier, is we're back in the Friday the 13th world. And I think that's all that matters, dude. At least from this point. Even Sarah Beckman looks bigger than Jason. Yeah, man. This Jason's just too. I don't know, dude. He's just. Something's off. He's not. Yeah, I don't see him doing. I mean, he does damage based on this little short. He does his damage for sure. But. I don't know. Yeah. It's really strange, man. The new Jason is strange. If it's unofficial, why do people care so much? Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, I guess it's official. Like I said, it's just a promotion piece. Has nothing to do with, with what we got coming. It possibly could. Like I said, I could see them, carrying this vibe and this tone to the show. But as far as just the commercial marketing promotion piece, I don't get the whole hey, I don't understand the crap it's getting, especially like I said, it's just a little promotion piece. So yeah, like I said, it could be canon with the show or the movie, whatever, and I could kind of see them, eventually going back to these characters, once we get the show rolling. But as far as as far as just like a little short film, man, like a little commercial piece, whatever they intended it to be, we shouldn't be as hard, man. Like I said, I get it, dude. Like I get it. I'm quite disappointed with the new Jason. So I get it, but like I said, I'm not too hard on it for the same reason. It's just a it's just the first look, you know. Death Curse, yeah, man, yeah. I mean, for sure, it could have, you know. I kind of get the whole Sweet Revenge title, you know. I guess the girl's gonna have her revenge or whatever the case is gonna be. Like I said, it could be this whole thing could be connected. They could eventually go back to their face off, you know. Oh yeah, for sure. Slasher movies for 10. Yeah, man. Yeah, and that's one issue as well, man. People, you know, like you said, it really set the bar high for Jason, for the franchise as a whole. Like I said, after many years, we had nothing. Excuse me. Uh, so people really held on to those fan films, and they're really well made fan films. Like I said, really successful, man. Like I really can't. I really can't tell you another, you know, successful fan film out there than the Never Hike Alone ones. And like I said, dude, some people obviously are, you know, comparing it to this short film. You know, comparing the actual fan films to this short film. But the fan films obviously they have a storyline, dude. That's an actual, you know, story driven project. So to me, it's not really fair to compare this to like some of the short films. Like even some people, like I said, are saying the fan films are way better. Excuse me, are way better than this. Uh, which possibly they could be. Uh, you know, and like, but like I said, it's really not fair to compare a fan film with a full, you know, a short film. You know, so that's kind of true. Yeah, the Never Hike Alone really set the bar high, and it could be why people are expecting a lot more with it. You know, like I said, it would be a different story if this was like a longer, you know, straight to YouTube movie, straight to streaming movie. Yeah, that I think that's when we could fully compare it and fully, you know, be decisive and really, you know, go into detail with our thoughts. Uh, but from what we've seen so far in this little short, uh, it's not enough for us to hold on, or at least for me, it's not enough for me to hold on to, uh, you know, compare it with what we had in the past. Uh, but yeah, I mean, and like I said, even some people feel it feels like low budget wise. It feels like a fan film or whatever, and it kind of does in some aspects for sure. Like the most fan film thing about this Sweet Revenge is the dude playing Jason, dude. Like really, the new Jason looks like a you know, straight out of out of a fan film or something, you know. Uh, but the rest, like the cinematography, the tone and the vibe, gave me more like TV show vibes more than a fan film, you know. Uh, yeah, I don't like I said, I don't know if it's just me, but yeah, and you know, like one of you guys said earlier, this is something it has that fan film content to it. It has that fan film you know potential for sure. Because yeah, any of us could do this like that. You know, if we really were to make a Friday fan film, obviously, what's the main things we gotta capture in this fan film? We gotta capture, you know, the Crystal Lake scenario. We gotta, you know, the cabin in the woods. Of course, the teenagers. So it has the basic, you know, formula for sure. Uh, but yeah, I got more kind of TV vibes from this little short rather than a fan film. But yeah, but you're right. Slasher movies. Uh, a lot of people gravitated towards the you know, Friday fan films, the Never Hike Alone fan films. So I guess people were kind of expecting that, something around those lines. Uh, Hot Pot, yeah, I think I've seen it, man. I've seen a nice handful of fan films. That Michael versus Jason one, I think, yeah, I have seen that one. But you know, it's kind of, when it comes to fan films, dude, they're fun to watch for sure, but they don't really like stick on to me as much. Like I said, Never Hike Alone. I saw it like years ago, dude, but I really I don't recall it as much, But I gotta rewatch them for sure, you know. For sure, porn star. Yeah, yeah, you're right, man. Yeah, even some of the early Friday movies, dude, are like an hour and 20, 30 minutes, dude. I've done watch alongs on here, on live, uh, and the movie's done like this, for sure, man. Yeah, and you know what? That could be the issue too, dude. A lot of people probably really wanted a full length movie rather than a short film, you know. Uh, but and like I said, I would have loved the movie as well. Uh, but I just think they should how do you say it? Experiment with the TV show, whatever they got going on over there, and really, experiment with that, and then with the movie, they have some type of content, they have some kind of substance to balance it off. You know what I mean? But like I said, yeah, this whole short film thing, kind of strange and kind of out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere like a short film. Uh, but it is what it is, man. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Me personally, I'm just glad we got something. We got something. Even though it's been 16 years, hey, man, it might not live up to our expectations, dude. But we still got a lot more to look forward to, man. We just gotta be patient for sure. Uh, yeah, Hapa, yeah, I could see that, dude. I could see them taking that route with the new Final Girl. Uh, because obviously they left it in a cliffhanger, dude. So they might go back to it for sure. It could be a little too soon for them to try to have a character face off Jason. They probably should have waited a little bit more. Uh, like they really should have had just Jason do his thing, does what he does best at, rather than focus on like the supernatural elements. So a character could face off Jason. That they really should have waited, for that, But we're gonna have to see what's up. This review is better than the film. I appreciate you, man. I just try to, just kind of grab some kind of sense to it. I could have easily crapped on it, man, and really, destroy it. Like, I don't think it deserves it. I don't think it deserves it, dude. There is films that deserve all the crap in the world. Halloween Ends. You guys name it, right? But like I said, it just there really there really isn't much to critique here, other than the gripes it has. Jason, okay, but I think we still we gotta wait, man, for sure. We gotta see what they got in store for us. Halloween, Friday the 13th, Vengeance is another great fan film, man. Yeah, Friday the 13th has a lot of great fan films for sure. Uh, like I said, dude, they're the most popular ones. Uh, yeah, for sure. Halloween has a lot of popular ones as well. Uh, but as far as counting them as canon to the franchise, to me, not really. I kind of look at them as their own thing. Because I feel like, and this is just my personal opinion. Like I said, people could be really into the fan films, right? But I think, dude, the fan films, dude, are more about making them. Like at least me personally, like they're more like they're mostly about making them. You know, I feel like that's the fun of it. That's the cadence of it. Making them. That's what At least me when I used to make crappy little fan films. That was the best part, dude. Making them. You know, not as much watching them. Obviously, you know, at least me, I really don't like to watch, my videos or nothing I make. I think it's all about the fun of making them. Me personally. But like I said, man, the Friday fan films really have, stuck onto people. And that's cool. It gave people a sense of Friday, during its absence. I hate how they killed the real Snake in the original Friday. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure nowadays they have like CGI or props or whatever. Uh, but yeah, I guess uh, especially back then, they would actually do the real. They would do this like real life. Either kill animals or whatever. Poltergeist. That's what came. That was my first thought. Poltergeist when they used the skeletons and all that. They were real human skeletons. Rather nowadays it'll be props. Skeleton props. In any major, motion picture nowadays, it'll be a prop. But back then, dude, yeah, it was more raw, dude. It was more uncut. You know, uh, Maybe that's why a lot of stuff looks more real in movies back then than now. Now everything's all digital and all that. Yeah, man. I mean, there's a good side to it and a bad side to it, I guess. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, man. For sure. I can't wait what they got in store for us for Freddy. Uh, I could kind of see him going the direct sequel route with Nightmare. I hope not, but you know, uh, I don't know, man. I mean, maybe once the Crystal Lake show comes about and it's successful and people really like it, I think that's when they're gonna start, talking about Freddy. I think that's when they're gonna start, pitching ideas and really try to, get the wheels rolling for Freddy. Oh yeah, dude. For Halloween ends, yeah, for sure. I agree, dude. Yeah, they definitely had. It had a lot of potential, dude. Especially for a final movie, a ends movie. It really a lot of more stuff they could have pulled off, man. Halloween ends feels more like not an end movie. It really feels like a movie in the middle because we get introduced to Corey, which was okay, dude. Like I said, the whole idea is dumb and stuff, but it obviously would have worked if Corey was introduced in kills rather than ends, you know. And just the whole, copycat aspect is what really tanked it, especially for an ends movie. The thing is, the snake was someone's pet. I get it, man. I totally get it. It's alive too. And I love snakes, dude, for sure. You know, it's definitely it's a it's a life. It's a living spirit. It's a living creature. So from that aspect, yeah, it's pretty bad. Uh, especially for film. Uh, I get it. I get it. Just see who's on the block. I'm more excited for the TV series. Yeah, me too, man. I'm definitely looking forward to the show more, man, than the movie or whatever they're gonna do. Uh, because yeah, I think the show has potential. Uh, since it's gonna be a prequel, definitely has a lot of potential. Uh, and kind of refreshing, kind of refreshing. I'm glad they're not starting off right off the bat, with Jason, doing his thing. It's gonna have, a nice. It's gonna be nicely story driven, So I'm really excited, dude, and it definitely gets me more excited when I see like behind the scene photos on the set and stuff like that. Michael Keaton versus Michael Myers, who would win? I mean, Michael Myers, obviously, man. I mean, unless you're talking about Michael Keaton's Batman, who knows, man? But yeah, a spin-off. Yeah, for sure. Infinity Dragon, probably a spin-off could have worked even better, for the Corey character. For sure, it was just too soon. It was just too rushed, man. I think Halloween Ends was too rushed, and they were just trying to. I think they were just trying to get to their deadline. I'm turning into Jason. Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, I get you for sure. It really it would suck, man, for sure, because you're dealing with you're dealing with a life, I guess. But I know what you mean though, Hapa. I get your point of view. And Jamie Lee Curtis, man. Who knows, man? Who really does know? Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis, man. She's definitely, she's definitely been through it in the Blumhouse. You know, in the Blumhouse movies, man. Of course, she was like, especially in Ends, their showdown. Yeah, man. I know Jamie Lee Curtis has a new movie out now, right? It's kind of like a Disney movie. It's funny because she looks exactly like Laurie did in the Blumhouse ones. It's funny, man. Infinity Dragon. I mean, kind of the same here, man. Because it's not gonna be the Scream 7 that was originally intended. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's we're obviously still gonna be there and watch it. But yeah, I just have a feeling it's gonna be, it might be the weakest one from, these new set of Scream movies. And I heard they're also gonna do 8. Uh, but yeah, I would have been more excited if they were doing the original Scream 7 that they intended. I mean, Michael Keaton, man, he definitely, I'm pretty sure he still got his moves. He still got his moves, man. So yeah, Keaton might be the winner on that. Oh yeah, yeah, man, for sure. Welcome to Derry. I'm really looking forward to that as well. Uh, Another one that I hope really remains grounded and stuff like that. I can't wait for that one either. For sure. Like I said, if these upcoming shows are successful, I could see them. I could see more shows in the near future. Like I said with Chucky, when Chucky the series came out, everyone, I mean even Halloween was trying to do a series. Uh, which I think I don't know. I don't even know what's up with Halloween, man. But I guess that was one of the ideas they had, is is make it a show. But I think I just don't think shows have been successful enough to to really you know make more. I mean, slowly we're getting more the Welcome to Derry and stuff like that, but I don't know. But at the same time, even though a show is successful, doesn't mean every franchise has to turn into a show. It really doesn't, you know. Oh, for sure, Norman. I'm gonna look into it. Yeah, I know. Yesterday was the anniversary to Jason Goes to Hell, but yeah, I'm not sure on that though. Freddy versus Jason. Yeah, man, it's gonna be what? It's gonna be 22 years. That's crazy, man. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, ends really. It's a bad look. It's definitely a bad look on Jason. Not Jason, Michael. Sorry. Uh, yeah, dude. Just straight up embarrassing, man. I can't. I really can't stand Halloween ends, to be honest. He loves horror. What's up, man? Just got done eating. Awesome, man. Awesome. Been here for a while, man. Just talking about the new Sweet Revenge short film. Our first look at this new Jason universe. It was okay, dude. Like, it's nothing major. I gave it a solid 6 out of 10, dude. Uh, Definitely recommend you watching it. He Loves Horror. If you haven't seen it, or if you have, definitely let us know what you think. Uh, it has its ups and downs, you know. And like I said, I can't critique it too deep because, dude, it's literally just an just a 13-minute advertisement short film. So we can't, go too hard on it, you know. But yeah, with time, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a lot more when it comes to Friday. Yeah, Norman. Yeah, I did see the latest. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I did see it, man. It was okay, man. Just another, ordinary legacy sequel. A nice slasher flick. It did its job, so it was okay. From Scream 3, you know what, man? There's been like so many updates. I don't even know if they're updates or people are just speculating online. I lost count, dude. I lost count who and who's gonna be in Scream 7. Uh, I did hear a lot of returning characters are gonna be coming back, but I lose count, dude. Scream 7 is definitely like the most talked about, like the most updated. It's not even not even updates. They're just like, yeah. Scream 7 is so oftenly discussed on online, different theories and speculations. So I don't even know, dude, what's official or not at this point. I mean, that's true, huh? Yeah, Michael's an older guy, dude. Uh, by the time Ends comes out, but I mean, he was a beast in Halloween Kills, and I know Ends takes place like 4 years after, 4 years before Halloween Kills. But still, man, like I don't know. And yeah, I know he's way more elderly in the Blumhouse ones, but I mean, he did that in Halloween Kills, dude. He killed those firefighters and all those people. The mob that tried to attack him at the end. He took him out like nothing, man. So, and only for 4 years, 4 little years to pass by, and now he can't do nothing. All of a sudden, I don't buy it, man. I really don't. You know, mid 70s, yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. And that could honestly play, a big part why the Blumhouse movies didn't work, man. I mean, I never thought of it. I never thought of it as the age wise, but obviously in the reality sense, obviously, yeah, he's gonna be weaker. But I mean, I think that's just the issue, man. Just by them trying to continue that same storyline from the original, yeah, 40 years later, he's older. Like, what do you, what do we expect? Uh, so that's why if we want a badass Michael or whatever, they just got to move on, man. And yeah, they got to move either a remake or a new storyline, whatever. They can't continue with the same Michael, man, because yeah, like you guys said, it's an age thing or whatever, and like I said, I never thought of it that way, but like I said, in the reality sense, yeah, you can say it explains the whole Halloween Ends thing. uh I get it, yeah. I get give the old man a break. I get it, dude. Yeah, man, but I don't know. I guess age does play a part. You know, I know. He's supposed to be this force of nature or whatever. So if we don't want to see none of that no more, man, they just got to move on, man. They just got to move on. Uh, because yeah, they can't continue with the original Michael. Because like 2018 would have been okay enough. And after that, they really shouldn't have done the last two part of the same storyline. Like really, like if they're gonna continue with the 78 timeline 40 years later, like what do we expect? Like obviously we're not gonna expect much if it's elderly Michael. So what's the point of it? I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, dude. Oh yeah, dude. Scream 3, pretty good, dude. Scream 3 was always a lot of people's least favorite. It's my least favorite too, but I don't think it's bad, dude. I think Scream 3. There's a lot of aspects of Scream 3 I like a little more than Scream 2, but I like Scream 3. Yeah, he loves horror. Yeah, I know we did get a first look, man, with the trailer, but once you get into it, man, I wouldn't really don't expect a lot. I don't know. It's just the first look. I really wouldn't have go too deep into thought to it, because if you do, you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna be disappointed, like a lot of people. But you know what, Hapa? I think I do prefer the 1990 Pennywise for sure. But as far as scary wise, I think I could give it to Bill Skarsgård, dude, because yeah, it's more of a creepier look. That's kind of a hard question, dude, because yeah, but dude, as a kid, dude, Tim Curry's Pennywise, creepy to any kid, creepy. Now we might look at it different. It's of course the bright colors or whatever. And the new Pennywise looks more, creature like. And Tim Curry looks like a more ordinary clown. So I don't know, man. I mean, my first instinct, my first like answer, I'm gonna go with Tim Curry, dude. Yeah, to be honest. Oh yeah, I really did not like the second remake of it when they're grown up. The first one was okay, and when it came out, I didn't really like it, to be honest. But I rewatched it, man, not too long ago, and I liked it a lot better than I did initially. Yeah, the sequel was all over the place, dude, for sure. It was just all over the place. It was a mess, dude. Didn't really like it. I mean, Norman. I mean, if they just wrapped up filming, I mean, obviously, I would expect another year for it. They gotta, they still gotta do a lot of stuff, man. I know they finished filming, but they still gotta, edit, and all that good stuff, man. Usually, when a film stops filming, it doesn't come out till like another year. So, yeah, dude, Halloween Ends. It's a weird movie, dude. Like it like I said, dude, the whole Corey thing could have worked, but it shouldn't have been introduced as the final movie. It would have been well received more if it was, if it was just another Halloween movie. But I think it was so badly, received because it was the final movie, and we were expecting a lot more than that. Oh yeah, the library scene. Oh yeah, man, classic scene. Dude, a lot of those scenes from the original really stick out to me, dude. Way before I even saw like the full movie at its entirety. Of course, the Georgie scene, classic, man. Halloween H2O. H2O, yeah, it's okay, man. It's okay, It definitely feels more like Scream style, but I guess it's okay, man. I don't know. I've never been the biggest fan of H2O, to be honest. Yeah, man. Yeah, like if they were gonna have Corey, they should have introduced him at least in Kills. Uh, but that's a bad way to go out, man. To end the series, introducing a new character, and have him take on the Michael role, and you see the copycat Michael more than the actual Michael. It was always dumb, man. It was always dumb, a dumb idea. Yeah, for sure. He loves horror. H2O is a little too gimmicky, a little too, like I said, a little too, like, dude, before H2O, the Halloween, even 6, dude. 6 is quite bad, but, dude, 6 still feels dark, dude. It still feels like creepy elements in there. Michael's like the most intimidating in H6. H2O, man, just kind of watered it down a bit. Even the soundtrack, dude, it feels more like more more of like a happy kind of version of the Halloween theme. More Scream style, like I said, and I get it, dude. I mean, Scream was a success, so they definitely tried to capture the hype, man, the success of Scream. Oh yeah, he loves horror. I heard that too. I heard they were gonna possibly use the H6 mask in H2O. Uh, they really should have, man. Because I'm telling you, in Halloween 6, he looked just that goblin look the mask has. Really good, man. I know the masks in H2O had a lot of, that was like one of the main issues with H2O, dude. They couldn't come to stand with what freaking mask they were gonna use. Yeah, man, dude. From what I heard, from what I read, the whole Corey aspect really came from Jamie Lee Curtis, dude. Like Jamie Lee Curtis is an executive producer, so that means she had say so in the creative choices, And I heard Gordon Green step to her, and yeah, that was Jamie Lee Curtis's response, man. Was the Halloween Ends movie. Roman Bridger. Yo, yeah, for sure, man. That's one of the best things from Scream 3. It was just one dude. It was just one dude. It's not, it's not the pair, the traditional couple. It's not, it's not like a teamwork thing like the new ones have as well. But it was just Roman Bridger, man, and that's what I really did like about Scream 3. Oh yeah, Infinity Dragon. I recommend the 78 mask. Trick or Treat Studios. It's pretty good. Hold on, guys. Oh yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, you could tell ends they were just trying to finish it. They were just trying to finish it the fast they could, I feel like at that point they didn't care too much about the story or anything like that. Oh yeah, for sure, Hot Pod. The Boogeyman mask is actually pretty good too. I know they have a few versions from the original Halloween. They got the Boogeyman mask, the Elrod, which kind of obviously it's the Elrod from like H2, but it really resembles the Halloween one, the Boogeyman mask, and I think they had one more. I'm not sure, but yeah, those are really good as well. I was even thinking of getting like a Boogeyman mask, man. You know. Oh, He Loves Horror. Are you talking about like the novelization of Halloween Ends? To see like what more they had? Yeah, because I know in the novelizations, there's like it's like more detailed. So you could kind of see what a little bit more, kind of get more of the stuff they were trying to intend. But yeah, for sure, Hapa. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like majority of the you know, I know in the end we had Michael versus Laurie, but from what I remember, dude, it showed more Corey's Michael going after Laurie. It's strange. Yeah, dude. Dude, Halloween Ends could honestly, I think it might be the worst one, dude. Because it's just there's no reason for them to go out like that, like at all. Like I that's how I look at it. There's no excuse, dude. For them to just crap on Michael like that. Yeah, dude, they had the CGI mask. I'm telling you, they didn't know. They couldn't come to terms with what mask they were doing. Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, Child's Play 2, one of the best sequels for sure. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, you're right. He Loves Horror. Yeah, they kind of did use this Halloween 6 mask in the first kill when he kills the guy in Jordan. What's his name? Jordan Gordon Levy or something like that. A young version of him. When Michael steps into the door, I think he's still wearing the H6 mask. But I guess they didn't want to continue. Like I said, dude, even during production, they couldn't come to terms with one mask, For sure. Scream 3 H2O was actually filmed in the same area. Interesting, man. I didn't know that. Same here. Super J's Bros. Yeah, Halloween 2. Always going to be my favorite sequel of all time. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. They kind of try to add some, like, Christine elements in there. Yeah, man, dude. I even heard. I think they're. I don't know if they're remaking Christine. I think I heard something like that. I'm really not sure. Interesting question. Hold on. Infinity Dragon. What would I watch? A Friday the 13th movie or a Texas Chainsaw Massacre by Eli Roth, directed by Eli Roth? Interesting, man. That's a pretty good question. Uh, man. You know what? I think I'm gonna go for Texas Chainsaw because Texas Chainsaw is more. I could see that being his style more than Friday. Like I said, he did okay with Thanksgiving, the slasher aspects. But of course, when we talk about like Hostel and all that, right? It really suits up Texas Chainsaw a little bit more, you know. So probably, you know, Texas Chainsaw by Eli Roth would be pretty cool. Interesting, man. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, the novelization could probably fill in the gaps. Novelizations are always a little bit more detailed, even though they're based on the movies. Uh, but there's always just, you know, a bit more added onto there. Hot Pot, appreciate you tuning in, man. Definitely catch you on the next one. Make sure you have a great rest of your night. Gonna be heading out of here soon, man. I've been on here way too long. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. The first time Halloween ends, I couldn't believe it, dude. Yeah, like, is this a joke? You know, that really was my reaction as well. Uh, they are remaking. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I heard something about the Christine remake. Uh, and I think I did hear something about the Cujo remake. I think the Cujo one's gonna be like, I think a Netflix or something like that. Yeah, man. It sucks, man. It sucks, especially movies like that that are really that have not been touched for a long time. Nice handful of them. Cujo, Christine, American Werewolf in London. Oh my god, dude, I would hate to see a remake of American Werewolf in London. I just think it'll be really disrespectful to Rick Baker, man. Uh, because yeah, dude, those practical effects, man, they changed. It changed the game. It changed the game. It was a game changer, you know. You know, so when I hear a lot of these movies, whenever I hear like news that there's a potential remake in the works, I get like disappointed, dude, because yeah, a lot of films like these really they go untouched for a lot of years, dude. And and you know, I think they should keep it that way. I understand they always try to go after the popular ones, remake a lot of popular titles. Uh, but yeah, dude, I mean, a remake Cujo. Can you guys imagine that? I don't know. Customizing my Jason mask. Awesome, man. It's always fun. Always fun working on the Jason masks. Yeah, man. Christine is a great film. Really beautiful shot film, cinematography and everything, man. It really stands the test of time, dude. Christine is really great. Uh, for sure, one of John Carpenter's best. Norman, the novelization of Halloween Ends is way better than when we got in film. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure, man. Like I said, novelizations are more detailed. They could kind of switch stuff here and there, but yeah, I've always heard that. I've always heard novelizations and novels are way better than any film adaptation. You know, Even though when it comes to like these Halloween ones, the films are done first and then the novelization. I think, uh, or probably around the same time. Maybe the novelization contains a lot of stuff they cut out for the movie. So yeah, for sure, I could see that happening. I could see the novelization really changing, kind of changing people's perspective, man. But who knows, man? That's just me from the outside looking in. But yeah, dude, Halloween Ends. I just think it ruined it. It ruined the franchise. At least for me, it really did. Like, it's not that I look at Michael any different, Obviously, we go back to those original films. There's nothing that could take away that from us. So that's always gonna be there. But as far as the future for Michael, I can't even. Yeah, I can't even grip my thoughts on what's to come. I don't know, dude, but I could really see Michael, be gone for the next 10 years. Just like we had, just like, he was, he disappeared between the Rob Zombie movies and the Blumhouse. I could really see that happening, dude. Or like Jason, after 16 years, he's back. I could see him taking a long hiatus, man, because I don't know if they're lost. I don't know if they don't know what to do no more. But dude, I just think they just gotta stop focusing on the original and leave it alone, dude. Because even some people are saying that they still want to continue after all this crap, man. They want to continue with the 78 storyline, with the Laurie storyline, and that's just its downfall, plain and simple. They gotta move on. They really gotta move on, dude, because that tends to be the downfall. Oh yeah, for sure, Infinity Dragon, especially in the 2000s, man. It's kind of like a pattern, dude. It's like kind of like 2000s. And I know we had a lot of remakes as well in the 90s, but in the 2000s is when the remakes really took off. I think they were the most successful than they ever been. Like I said, even though in the 90s we had a lot of great remakes, in the 80s too. I mean, the Fly remake, probably the best remake in my opinion. But in the 2000s, dude, and it could also be because they're remakes of these popular titles. But in the 2000s, man, Texas Chainsaw, the remake, that was the first remake that came out from Platinum Dunes, really successful. Hey, after that, everyone started remaking their movies. Amityville Horror, The Hitcher, Halloween, Nightmare, Friday, you guys name it, After that, everyone got a remake. Then of course the last few were terrible. Nightmare, they kind of stopped, even though we had a few that came out after, like Evil Dead remake 2013, right? And then we fast forward to 2018, Halloween, direct sequel. Ooh, they found the new formula. Direct sequel. Make a sequel to your original movie. Really, that was really successful, and now everyone was doing the same thing. Texas Chainsaw, Scream. So it's kind of like a pattern right there, So I think it has to do with what really is successful. What really, instead of these franchises trying to be original and trying to, move on into better and bigger things, they really try to capture the success of other properties. You know what I mean? And I think at the same time, that tends to be the downfall to a lot of these movies. Texas Chainsaw, the last one, Netflix, terrible, man. Terrible. And for that simple reason, they try to do that 40, 50 years later sequel thing. Yeah, man. So it's kind of like a trendy thing. It's kind of like a pattern, dude. Like, I don't know. Oh yeah, he loves horror. Yeah, no matter what, they're gonna continue with remakes. Uh, I mean, it's been remakes has been a part of cinema since the beginning, so it's only meant to be. It's only it's only gonna tend to happen in the future, dude. We're gonna have way more remakes of a lot of these films we all love. Uh, the Running Man is getting the remake treatment. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. It's never gonna stop, dude. It's never gonna stop. Highlander the remake. Interesting, man. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, every once in a while, every here and then, we do get news of a remake in the works. Like I said, it's annoying and it's unoriginal, but it's always gonna be a part of cinema for sure. Oh yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, Norman, that might be the case, dude. Yeah, everyone, people. Yeah, man, especially nowadays, dude. In modern times, yeah, dude. People, it's funny. People take Art the Clown more serious than Michael. Uh, yeah, dude. Art the Clown has surpassed, as far as popularity, has surpassed a lot of these guys, man. Like he really has. I wouldn't say he surpassed them as far as status, not at all. But as far as popularity, yeah, in the mainstream, yeah, uh, yeah, dude, for sure, yeah. And I hate to say it, it's a bummer because it doesn't get more iconic than Michael, Jason are greats, right? Uh, but hey, as long as these Terrifier movies have the slasher genre alive and you know they're successful enough to inspire more movies, then it's all good, but yeah, man, Art the Clown is the face of horror. If we like it or not. I hate to say it, but he really is that face of horror, at least now, for the past, I would say probably since like Terrifier 2, dude. Yeah, for sure, dude. Because yeah, the first one didn't do nothing, man. I never heard of Terrifier till like a few years after the first one. Uh, yeah, the first one came out low budget, right? Really didn't do nothing. Didn't really make a splash in the genre. But it wasn't until Terrifier 2 came out and Terrifier 3 I think was even bigger. Uh, but yeah, it is what it is. But like I said, as long as it inspires other filmmakers to give us more slasher films. I mean, after Terrifier, dude, we had a lot more than what we were giving before. We were getting like Conjuring movies back to back, Insidious, haunted house, ghost stories, all this crap. Uh, and yeah, and after like Terrifier, a lot of slashers. Thanksgiving. We had that one that came out earlier this year, Heart Eyes, a Valentine type of movie, uh, in a violent nature. So a lot of these, slasher style movies have really, are starting to. They slowly started to come back, and I think that's due to Terrifier. So I guess it is what it is. You know what, Infinity Dragon? I know a lot of people do want that. Go back to the Jamie Lloyd storyline, Halloween 4 storyline. It could work, dude. It could work. I mean, I'm pretty sure Daniel Harris is down. But, I don't know, man. I just think they should just start from scratch, dude. Stop trying to go back to, the timelines. Even though it'll be pretty cool, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I just think they should move on. To be honest, yeah, Norman. It's exactly that. It's exact rip off of the 2018 Halloween. That's exactly, yeah. That's it. That's exactly what it is, dude. Same concept, same everything. You know, Norman Fleming. You know what, man? As much as I hate to say it, but it it really is, man. He really is. Freddy was the face of horror uh, since the 80s. You know, I mean, yeah, dude. Freddy was at one point was more popular than Michael and Jason, for sure. You know, and Freddy was the face of horror for a very long time. And unfortunately, yeah, man, that's what Art the Clown is to this generation. You know, I'm blessed, dude. I'm blessed. You know, I was born in the right time, man. Raised in the right time. Because yeah, if I was, you know, if I was a little younger and stuff like that, and I watched, you know, Terrifier, I might like it more, you know, because I'm just, you know, I'm more of a, you know, I'm more little, just like how we all fell in love with these movies when we were little. Uh, if it was, you know, the other way around, and you know, we were kids in this era, and we saw Terrifier, oh yeah, we would probably look at it a little bit different. Uh, but you know, it is what it is. Appreciate you, man. Dan the mana Dan. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Uh, yeah, man. You already know. We'll definitely try to do as much content, man. Do the live streams here and there. Oh yeah, Terrifier 4. I think is coming out like next year or something like that. Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, dude. I think Daniel Harris should return one way or another, either a TV show or whatever. Like I said, the Halloween 4 direct sequel route could possibly work, man. It really could possibly work. Uh, like I said, especially since Daniel Harris is still, you know, she's still around. It could possibly work, dude. You know. But like I said, man, I got no clue. Like I got no clue what's the future for Halloween. I can't even predict, dude. I can't speculate because I just don't. I don't know, dude. Like yeah, I don't. I just don't. I really don't know. Like I said, I could see Michael being in hiatus, disappearing for another 10 years, dude, before we see anything. Uh, I know Blumhouse, I think, still owns the rights. So if they were to do another movie, I think Blumhouse is still gonna have to be involved. You know, or I'm not too sure. Like I said, I really am not sure how it's gonna play out. But yeah, I did hear something. I did read something like that. That Blumhouse somehow still wants to, you know, be involved with Halloween. I guess they haven't learned, man. They haven't learned. It's a bummer, dude, for sure. Oh yeah, man, for sure. Daniel Harris, Scream Queen. I hope to see her in a lot more, man. It doesn't have to be Halloween, man, but I hope we see her in a lot more because yeah, she's definitely, you know, the Scream Queen. You could say to this generation, you know, uh to a lot of people, you know, people, especially people that were like raised in like the Halloween 4 or 5 timeline. Uh, yeah, he loves horror. Yeah, yeah, I heard something like that. That Blumhouse still has the rights. Uh, and possibly, I mean, you never know, man. They might figure something out or something, and make a new movie in the next couple of years. But we'll have to see what happens, dude. As much as I hate to, as much as I would hate to see another Blumhouse Halloween. Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. Thoughts on the new Conjuring movie? I mean, I'm not the biggest fan, man, of the Conjuring movies. So the new one is like, whatever's, man. It's just those movies are always gonna be successful. They're always gonna, they're like the mainstream horror movies. So they're always gonna be, they're always gonna make numbers as crappy as they can be. They're always like these big budget movies. So they're always gonna there's always gonna be big promotion with the new Conjuring movies, but I don't really I'm not the biggest fan, to be honest. Yeah, man, he loves horror. Yeah, dude, I very much agree, man. You know, they got these icons got to make a comeback, man. Because it's only right. It's only right. And like you said, man, they gotta definitely come back to the big screen, man, rather than like TV shows and all that. They gotta give them justice, dude. Because yeah, dude, these icons, man, these characters, man, are just gonna become more classic, more iconic the more time goes on, and they set the blueprint. They set the blueprint, so I don't think they should just be forgotten like that, man. You know, I don't know. It's just and we've seen a nice handful of these icons return, like Halloween, of course. But I don't know, dude. They just gotta be creative. They wanna, if they wanna bring them back, they gotta be creative, man. Not just anything, because that's when you have, disappointments, and we don't want that for our icons. No disrespect, but I'm pretty sure he loves horror. I'm pretty sure, yeah, the conventions is a major thing when it comes to, not just the actors, but to the fans, dude. I mean, I guess people feel more close when they go to conventions. Conventions has never been my thing. But I bet, dude, I bet it's tiring. Leprechaun 1. No, man, I have not seen Leprechaun 1, the fan film. I really haven't, man. Strangers 2. Yeah, I don't know. The last one was kind of crap. But hey, maybe the new one might be better. Who knows, man? Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. That's very true. He loves horror. Uh, because yeah, it seems like conventions is like the main thing. They like I'm pretty sure it's good money for them. Of course, man. The fans will pay for an autograph or for a photo and all this crap. Uh, but yeah, man. They eventually they should definitely take advantage, man. Before it these actors and stuff like that get more elder, and they're not really able to do much. So they should really take advantage of it. But yeah, man. Awesome, man. Oh yeah, Freddy versus Jason mask. One of my really good. Really, I really do like the Freddy versus Jason mask. Uh, just the weathered look, the scratches. Really cool, man. Wishmaster, Pumpkinhead, Pinhead need a comeback. Dude, yeah, man, for sure. Oh yeah, I could see it. I could see them. You know, I know they're not as popular as other characters, but Pumpkinhead will be pretty cool. I think that'll be a pretty cool comeback to see him return. Uh, Pinhead as well, man. I mean, you know, I know that series has a bad reputation, but you know, eventually, yeah, man, they should definitely do a movie or something. Pinhead, another Hellraiser or something. The remake, the Hulu one, didn't really care for it. But yeah, man, it's crazy, you know. Yeah, man, Pumpkinhead. Yeah, man. It's just a dope design. I really do like the first movie. As much as I would hate a new Pumpkinhead in CGI, uh, I really wish people talk a little bit more about Pumpkinhead, man. Because yeah, dude, he's up. I think he's up there. You know, yeah, man, Pumpkinhead. I definitely like it more than like Alien and Predator and all that, but that'll be pretty cool, man. Pumpkinhead, you know, yeah. Even though most likely it'll be like made out of CGI, but yeah, man, pretty underrated. Like I said, people don't really talk too much about Pumpkinhead. Original every October, yeah, man, yeah, for sure. I watch it. I actually watched it like not too long ago too. Or I didn't really watch it. I watched like glimpses of it. I was actually on live and it was on TV. But I've seen it a nice handful of times, dude. Really good movie. Monster movie for sure. One of my favorite monster movies. Uh, but yeah, man. But you know what, guys? I think that's gonna be pretty much it. I was on here way too long. Again, I was only gonna talk about my reaction, my thoughts on the Sweet Revenge short film. Like I said, dude, it's whatever. It's a 6 out of 10 for me. Wasn't expecting more. Wasn't expecting less. It was just okay, dude. And like I said, I can't wait to see what they got in store for us. Uh, and I really do hope they improve on our new Jason, dude. Because yeah, this new Jason needs a lot of work. Oh shit, really, Norman? I haven't heard that, man. Pumpkinhead is getting a remake. Wow. I mean, not surprised. You know, if we're gonna get Pumpkinhead back, it's obviously gonna be a remake. Uh, but yeah, dude, the original Pumpkinhead is dope. Yeah, I actually might watch like behind the scene, like the making of it. That'll be pretty dope. That'll be pretty dope too. Hope they have some footage. Oh yeah, Pinhead. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Hellraiser's getting a game. It's a nice way to keep the Pinhead character alive. By making a game. Uh, and you guys know me. I'm not really a gamer, but that trailer that they gave us got me excited because, like I said, it's pretty cool. It's you know, at least I hope so. It's better than like the previous games we've gotten. Especially Hellraiser being like this crazy ass concept, crazy ass franchise. So it does have potential for a pretty cool video game. So yeah, so I think it would have been preferred for a Hellraiser game than a movie. Because yeah, if they were to come out with a movie now, I don't think people would care for it as much, Oh yeah, man, crossovers. Yeah, I don't really see them coming anytime soon. Uh, yeah, I mean, they were popular. You know, they should have continued after Freddy versus Jason. It was considered to continue after Freddy versus Jason because it was successful. You know, uh, of course, man, Michael versus Pinhead. That was like something I guess they were considering because Dimension Films did own both of them at the time. So it would have if they were gonna do more crossovers, it would have been done then. Nowadays, I really don't see it. I really don't. Or overall, I just think the crossover idea might not be. I don't know because, like I said, Freddy versus Jason was successful, but and if they really wanted to cash in, they would have continued. But I guess it's not meant for the horror characters to cross over. At least the others. I mean, Freddy and Jason. It's kind of like meant to be, I guess. I don't know, but I mean they're fun. Crossovers are fun. Would we see them anytime soon? Like I said, I doubt it. I really doubt it. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it, man. I'm gonna end it right here. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, I've been on here way too long. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about Sweet Revenge. Might give it a couple more watches. But yeah, that was my overall thoughts on it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, man. Great rest of your week. Hopefully I go live this weekend. Tomorrow's Friday again. That's crazy. Time goes on. The week goes really quick. But yeah, guys, shout out to all you guys who tuned in. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. You guys take it easy.